Welcome, everyone to the Hugo and Jake Address the Nation program, sponsored by, I guess patrons. Because it's nobody else.
Yeah.
Nobody else but patrons.
Speaking of which, we are what the fuck is the patreon.com/Hugo and Jake probably, or maybe it's the Bible Reloaded. I actually don't.
It's TBR.
Okay.
Or Hugo and Jake.
Patreon.com/
No, because I get a different. It's Hugo and Jake spelled out.
Okay, there we go. Patreon.com/Hugo and Jake if you want to help support the show.
Absolutely. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight, this evening. It's not gonna get better. It's only gonna get worse from here on out. It's kind of a shit show. Hugo, can you say some words so I can see how loud you are?
This is the volume at which I speak. Some of these stories are absolute fucking shit shows, actually, and they really concern me. Yes. So this is going to be an interesting episode, I guess.
Absolutely. So, of course, we answer all super chats. They should come up. It should be all set up to where Streamlabs actually pays attention to you. If it isn't, I'm sorry. But yeah, anything in the world of Hugo? What did you do today before we begin? Anything fun?
Nothing fun. I was out and about. I did some shit. I don't know.
Oh,
nothing I care to share with people.
How was your poop?
I don't have a very...
How was your poop today?
You know, it was all right, actually. It was fine.
It was a fine poop. Nothing to write home about.
No, it was typical Hugo poop. It was the consistency of toothpaste.
Wow, you should. Hey, wow. Hey, you guys got merch? Yeah, but we're gonna. I'm thinking about revamping some of the stuff and integrating it with YouTube and stuff, so it's easier. We have not been e-begging nearly enough. Everybody else is doing a lot of it, and I feel like we should up our game a little bit. But also, people ask me for merch all the time. I have a smudge on my glasses. That's not good. I went to a restaurant, a new one that I hadn't been to before. It's just like a little diner.
Where at?
It's called Fuzzy's. You ever been to Fuzzy's?
I've heard of it.
It's right down the road. It's like less than a mile away from where we live. And they had ice cream, but there was a meth-addicted, smoking man that kept getting a lot of very suspicious phone calls.
How did you know?
He had about 4 phone calls, and he'd be like, oh, yeah, let me walk outside. And he would literally get up and walk outside and walk around and pace. And he was very twitchy. He looks like every meth person I've ever seen. Also, he had like fucked up teeth. And he talked about... I heard the phrase when I was in jail. So...
I feel like if you're gonna set up a meth business, perhaps a la Walter White, I'm rewatching Breaking Bad, you want to set it up at an ice cream place, because you know what people like? Ice cream. You know what people also like? Methamphetamine. So, I'm just saying...
Do you think it'd be like a pop rock topping?
Maybe. It's kind of like, it's like you got your chocolate and my peanut butter, you got your ice cream and my meth.
A happy accident.
To great taste.
Getting meth. Do you think getting meth accidentally? Oh, he was wearing a Metallica shirt. Oh, and it was an AC/DC. Was it Back in Black? Was his ringtone? He had a ringtone on his telephone in the year of our Lord 2019. I heard a ringtone, guys. It was really weird.
I'm just going to come out and say this. If your phone isn't constantly on silent or vibrate, if it makes a noise when you get a call or a text, I think you're an insane person.
I barely liked it. Like, hearing the sound of someone like actively get like a phone call while it's on vibrate is really sad. Apparently the Patreon thing isn't popping up. What the fuck? How come it does it every once in a while? It only works occasionally. Guys, I think I need a Streamlabs expert to come in here and help me. There you go. I was gonna have to take care of it, but Jeffrey Petron got a hold of it. Good job.
The fastest mod in the West.
It even had the brackets around Nintendo. Nice. Anyway, so I think enough people have filed in for us to begin the festivities, right?
Sure.
Yeah. That's decent. That's decent. So we'll be doing this preferably every Monday for the foreseeable. This is a bad week. So of course we have the world's greatest president. The history books will definitely write positively about this individual. Individual one, our favorite, everybody's favorite president, Donald J. Trump, billionaire, but down to earth and tells it like it is. He shoots from the hip. He doesn't lie. I had a person on Twitter today unironically say this is only lightly related because it's about his tweets back last week about the squad and about how they should go back to where they came from. A conservative person that I follow to make sure, because I follow a bunch of shitty people because my job is torture. He said unironically he said the only racism I've ever seen in my life is from Democrats.
What?
Can we slow mode chat? I don't know how to slow mode chat.
I'm not gonna say Democrats are incapable of being racist because that's absolutely not the case, but I absolutely see it far more on the right. Donald Trump doesn't use dog whistles. He uses a bullhorn, and it's fucking insanity.
Well, first on the list is one of the things his basic big time platform is fuck Mexicans and other brown people. So this has happened today. Expedited removal to be expanded to apply everywhere within the U.S., not just the 100-mile border zone, and to anyone not in the U.S. more than 2 years. Federal regs notice will be published tomorrow, and we have a whole PDF from the Department of Homeland Security that you can go over. Basically, hardcore ICE. Yeah, go ahead and explain it.
Expedited removal, effectively, if you don't know what it means, is that normally when you try and deport someone, there's a process by which there is due process, as you'd imagine there would be in this country. And you go in front of an immigration judge, and you can state your case or whatever. And you can get a lawyer similar to any sort of court case or whatever. Specifically, immigration lawyers are there for this specific purpose. But with this particular, I keep saying particular, with this law and this change to the law, if you can't prove that you've been in the country for 2 years, at least, you can be you can have expedited deportation, which means you have no due process. They basically just ship you out almost immediately. The ACLU also talked about this a little bit recently after this news came out, and a spokesperson for them effectively said, the onus is on the immigrant or suspect in person to have documents on them proving they've been here for 2 years, because it can be only a matter of hours between arrest and deportation.
Which is literally show me your papers, Gestapo bullshit.
And you know what? Regardless of your feelings on illegal immigration, whatever they might be, surely I'd imagine in this country you should respect the rule of law and respect the idea that everyone is entitled to due process by the law. And I don't feel like this sort of fly by the seat of your pants trying to pick people out and be like, you prove you've been here 2 years or else we're just gonna ship you off right now. It's incredibly fucked, because guess what? Organizations make mistakes, even if you are against illegal immigration, which, frankly, I'm just going to be honest, I don't really give a shit. I don't care.
Me either. Master Nil, thank you for the $2 dues. I can't find a slow mode for chat anywhere, but that's okay. I don't know. We're getting closer and closer every day to imagery that makes it invokes Godwin's law every single time, and it's like It's extremely distasteful. It is targeted racism. I mean, this is gonna make people like that just look Mexican, right? Look Mexican, air quotes, because of course there's nationalities of all sorts in Mexico. People are surprised to learn there are people of Asian descent that live in Mexico that are Mexican. Like, I mean, same thing as in America. Like, you have all different ethnicities. So I mean, it literally just it targets brown people, and it's gonna make
stop it.
And it's gonna make people have fucking documentation. What if you don't have your ID on you and they say you look like you're from Mexico?
No one's stopping Sven, is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? No one's pulling over Sven and saying, "Hey, are you illegally immigrated from somewhere?" Dumb.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's pretty awful. I also, the thing about illegal immigration, a big problem is that the Trump administration closed a bunch of legal ports of entry recently, to where this is the reason we have this pile up at the border where we have all these people in fucking cages, because we don't have legal methods to get them through when they're literally fleeing. Usually it's economic situations from Mexico.
Economic cartel issues.
Well, the cartel issues, of course,
by the U.S.'s strict drug policies,
of course. And so I mean, like, we keep saying, well, we don't want illegal immigrants, but we do everything to incentivize crossing illegally rather than legally. And it seems like it's so much easier to try to cross the border illegally for a better shot for your family, because of course all the America is so great, we're the land of the free, land of riches propaganda bullshit that we send to people around the world. Like, imagine my shock when people want to show up here and work hard to send money back to their families and to work in these communities and live a better life, and we penalize them for following the thing we say they ought to do. It's so far beyond immoral at this point. It's just plain fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I really don't get it beyond the purely emotional reaction people have to immigration, especially for Mexico. It just strikes me as dumb, mostly. I don't know what else to say about it. That's basically it. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of energy to be trying to kick these people out of the country. They're just trying to provide labor for so they can get money in return to either go home or stay here and live a life, whatever they want to do. It's stupid.
Yeah, I don't have a slow mode, guys. I don't have a slow mode in my thing right now. It might be I might have to do that before. This is not as intuitive as Twitch. So slow mode's fine. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't know. Are there any people in chat that have anything interesting to say about the border? Let me just say I'm for open economic borders, but only after we've abolished the massive welfare state we have now.
I read that chat too, and I was going to say something about
it. Go ahead.
Nothing. I was just going to say, in what way do we have a massive welfare state? I don't understand why you think that's the case, chat guy. I'd be interested to hear what you consider a welfare state. I believe we often live in what could be considered a corporate welfare state, a military-industrial complex welfare state, but I wouldn't say we live in a welfare state other than that. Normal people doing normal things are not dragging down the economy or putting a huge dent in the U.S. budget. Not in the same way the military does. It's dumb.
I mean, I can just do top chat. That's not slow mode, though. Top chat, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work for... It's the spam filter on YouTube is shit. So I just do live chat. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, by most metrics, we don't have a welfare state. That doesn't really make any sense. No. We should send conservatives to gulag camps. We shouldn't send anyone to gulag camps.
Okay, they say that's what I'm talking about on top of the welfare state. Yeah, but you haven't explained why you think we live in a normal welfare state. Why? Because welfare exists as a thing? Or you feel that there are too many people on food stamps? What do you think here? I'm genuinely curious to hear what your opinion is, because we have some of the worst public services of any first world country on the planet. So I don't know what the fuck you're smoking, but I would like some.
1.7 trillion a year on is a welfare state. I
No, hold
disagree.
on, real quick.
Uh, my son, Amanda Voogd, my son has a bunch of Hispanic friends, and even though most of them were born here, they keep telling me they are terrified all the time now. It's so sad. I have a lot of, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about this kind of thing. There's lots of situations where people came over illegally and are trying hard to be naturalized, including marrying American citizens, opening businesses, doing everything right, and they're still denied fucking citizenship for no other reason than they don't meet some sort of qualification. We keep poor people from the country even after they become unpoor due to their hard work.
Hold on, Night Shift 1 million or whatever says 1.7 trillion a year on welfare is a welfare. Are you counting Social Security in what you're considering a welfare state? Are you considering Social Security to be a bad thing in this scenario? I need to know, because if it is, that's fucking ridiculous. I think in any first world country, it makes sense to make sure that old age has a security. There's no point in having a society in which old people are just told fuck off. Dumb.
Yeah. I don't know. On top of that, like, a lot of that welfare has to do with people with disabilities, people with the inability to work for whatever reason, people that are working but can't make a living wage because we don't have a living wage. I mean, there's so many factors that come into this. Welfare is not a bad thing. Welfare is a good thing. It's always been a good thing. It will always continue to be a good thing. At some point in human history, everything will technically be welfare because we will be past the point of jobs if we live that long. Like, if this society continues on, you're going to have so much automation and AI and stuff. Like jobs, having an actual job that is needed for your survival will be obsolete. Or we'll just die.
Yeah.
Why does America care about immigration with illegal activity if they spying on their citizens so much? I don't know if those two inform one another. But I do understand if you're talking about, like, why would the federal government say X is illegal, it bad, and then also do other illegal stuff? Because the American government has always been, and probably will be in perpetuity, hypocritical. For instance, we aren't members of the international court system because we don't want to go and be prosecuted for war crimes. The same international court that was set up by lawyers from the Nuremberg trials to ensure that we could promote peace through litigation and international sharing of laws rather than warfare. The thing we totally ignore and just skip over. Yeah. Because we use the fucking military as a jobs program and a stimulus package. It's really shitty.
Yeah.
We are not a good country. But we can.
Imagine if so many low-income people go into the military specifically because they can't afford to pay for college for themselves. Mm-hmm. Imagine if instead of all the money we spend on training them and sending them to learn how to be soldiers and to boot camp and all that shit, basic training, and all we spend on the military currently, if we took a portion of that and instead allowed people to have the choice, like, hey, if you want to join the military, that's fine, that's your prerogative, that's great. But if you want to just get a higher education and better yourself and participate in the economy in a positive way, imagine how much good could come of that as a country if we had a more educated populace creating more things, thinking of new ideas, having more experts in various fields. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there is an international court, by the way. We were written into it, but we never ratified our membership into it because, again, we don't want to be the United States. It was during the Clinton years. It was like one of the last days of the Clinton administration. He signed the paper, and then it never got ratified. Jake is right about the World Court. I know. How has Trump not been impeached? I think you got to wait till after the election, regardless. I think it emboldens the right if you impeach. And they're just going to vote for the criminal anyway, obviously, because they have
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Why can't Republicans... Like, I saw this thing the other day. It was the map where the interior of the country is red, and then they just have the borders. Usually they're blue. In this graphic, it was orange, and it says... There's as much population in these orange parts as there are in the red parts. Why do the orange parts get to... I don't understand. That's the same amount of people, right? The same amount of people, those same people have to live here. Just because they all live in one geographical region doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? So, and real estate doesn't have votes. It's the same sort of thing. They have no fucking backbone when it comes to moral stances. Like, it used to be you used to have people like a George H.W. Bush or I mean, even fucking John McCain during his thing with Obama and that lady saying he's not American, and he took the mic from her and was corrected her. Like that little kind of stuff, even though I think John McCain was overall an immoral piece of garbage, right? He still had enough to be like, no, well, this is a falsehood, right? It's I don't know. We don't have a right wing that fucking cares about anything except winning their team sport at this point, and they're just...
Which is one of the definitions of fascism, by the way, is getting power by basically any means, and power as an end and not a means. It's kind of fucked.
Yeah, it's really fucked.
And so I'm not saying all Republicans are fascist.
No,
I'm saying
of course not.
that they're a little fashy right now.
They're a little fashy right now. And so my response to that was, have you considered, because basically the premise was, if just the coasts have as much population as the center of the country, then liberals will just win if we don't have the Electoral College. And I said, have you considered just running with popular platforms that people want to vote for? Is that so hard? You can find Republican things that people want to vote for.
The Electoral College thing bugs me too, because our system was intentionally built in such a way that there would be representation for smaller communities and states with more rural areas. It's called the Senate!
It's actually called the...
Fuck it.
Both, but yeah. The Senate would make the equal, and then the House.
That was literally one of the purposes of the Senate, was because each state
the
gets
Senate is a little too strong
in the Senate.
Yeah, the Senate is a little too strong in that scenario, but yeah. Allie T, thank you for the 99 cents. Jake, if Trump gets away with even the motions of going through impeachment proceedings, then nobody has any reason to follow the laws at all, as POTUS. I agree. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying you can't do it during the election cycle because of the lack of moral fortitude by the right wing in this country right now.
Even if Democrats voted to impeach in the House, the Senate would never impeach him.
Right.
Senate Republicans will never impeach him.
Right. So you need to win another election.
Both houses have to agree.
Did you guys know Meghan McCain is John McCain's daughter? Crazy. It's a sad state of affairs at this point. I think people... We had a coalescing of a lot of different things. Social media is one of them where people don't understand how to parse through information, and so everything, literally the fake news thing, people believe that shit, and it's because there's a lack of skepticism. Now, when the boomers start dying off, that really helps, because they're a large portion of the group of people that have no idea how to internet whatsoever. No idea how to this comes out, right? And they just think, oh, Donald Trump did immigration thing. It's good. They don't understand that this is going to put the government, which they want a small amount of, in their fucking homes. In their fucking neighborhoods.
No. They want small government for them, not for the people they don't like.
Yeah, but it's going to affect them too anyway. Because they're going to have their businesses raided, they're going to have their fucking coworkers taken, they're going to, I mean, it's just, they're going to be fucking eating dinner at a Mexican restaurant and have a couple cooks drag the fuck out. This is going to happen. This isn't going to go well, and honestly, when you take away illegal immigration, it drives fucking wages up, and prices up. What would happen if Trump was a furry? The furries would definitely like that.
His base on 4chan would be more hyped than ever, I think.
God damn it. A big reward. Go for Palpatine.
Go for Papa Palpatine. It's a robot chicken line.
They admitted that the Republicans can't win the majority vote, which I guarantee they can win the majority vote. Republicans could do a lot to win the majority vote, especially if they went with an actually, like there's a lot of people out there that would vote for super low taxes, right? If you actually gave them to human beings and not corporations, right? So, I don't understand
people who make billions of dollars.
I don't understand someone who listens to Trump and agrees. Yeah, me either.
I don't know. I don't understand anyone who listens to Trump and doesn't borderline have a fucking aneurysm. Every time I listen to Trump speak or read something, like, listening is hard enough. But you ever read a Trump quote that's a direct quote and you feel like you're having a fucking stroke? Like, you're like, ah! I swear, every single time in the history books, 100 years from now or whatever, they're gonna have to put a little thing in like asterisks if they quote him that says like, yes, this is a direct quote. We didn't fuck it up.
Poseidus John. By the way, Chelsea Manning is still unjustly in jail.
Yeah. Can't let people know we're blowing up innocent people, because that would get in the way of that sweet, sweet profit.
Every single day I move closer to grabbing a sickle and a hammer. Every day.
I'm never going to be a tanky, but yeah, I'm with you.
Every single day. If only because they're morally correct when they speak about these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of listening to Donald Trump talk, this gets bad. Donald Trump said he could win an Afghan war in a week, but doesn't want to kill 10 million people. I'm going to play the clip for everybody who hasn't heard this before, so you can listen to it in his words with his inflections.
There is tremendous potential between our country and Pakistan. I think Pakistan's going to help us out to extricate ourselves. We're like policemen. We're not fighting a war. If we wanted to fight a war in Afghanistan and win it, I could win that war in a week. I just don't want to kill 10 million people. Does that make sense to you? I don't want to kill 10 million people. I have plans on Afghanistan that if I wanted to win that war, Afghanistan would be wiped off the face of the earth. It would be gone. It would be over literally in 10 days. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to go that route. So we're working with Pakistan and others to extricate ourselves. Nor do we want to be policemen, because basically we're policemen right now. And we're not supposed to be policemen.
So let me read these and then we'll get back into that. Wrath of Controversy with $5. Both parties are the problem. The U.S. is bloated and corrupt. The Constitution worked fantastically when we were less than 25 million people. Split it up. It did not work fantastically when we were less than 25 million people. It worked, well, unless you were white, and then it was fine.
Also,
the Constitution is not perfect. It is shit.
I find the both sidesism to be incredibly fucking obnoxious.
I agree.
The Democrats aren't perfect, and they certainly have their problems, especially establishment neolibs.
Oh yeah, and they're very corporatist. Very corporatist. They're really pushing hard back against things like universal health care, but it is by no means as severe.
Comparing that shit to locking kids in fucking cages and running literal pedophiles as your candidates, no, sir. Not even close to the same thing. You can have issues with the Democrats, but they are not as morally fucking repugnant.
Yeah.
There's a fucking difference.
There is. AJ's Beast with $2. Yes, Jake, join us. I don't know. That was in regards to BreadTube. I can definitely get close to it. Stephen Wright, thank you for the $5 reduce. So I have a really hard time giving Donald Trump credit for saying, I could kill 10 million people, but I don't want to do that. What it sounds like is a threat, right?
He said the quiet part out loud again. You
I
can't
know.
do that. Like, yeah, Donald Trump, we know nuclear weapons exist, and we understand that the United States has them. The fact that you even think it is on the table to use these in a first strike scenario and not as a deterrent is so fucked. The idea that there's a sitting president that doesn't understand the basics of game theory in regard to nuclear weapons makes me want to blow my fucking brain out. It's insanity. Do you people understand? This person does not understand, and he grew up during the Cold War. He was an adult. He doesn't understand that if he fucking kills 10 million people, fucking 6 billion others are also gonna die. What an idiot.
Well, 7.9. Poseidus John with $5. You guys know ANCOMs are a thing, and tankies aren't the only communists. Not to put tankies down. Yes, obviously, tankies are. Am I using the term militant reformationist correct? They're basically revolutionaries that are willing to use political violence to get their means done, and also Leninists, right? Also, there's other things besides ANCOMs. Anything with anarcho on it is probably not going to pan out. Anarchism just doesn't work because people suck. Again, it's a similar problem I have with any strict libertarian thing, anarcho-capitalism, anything like that. It relies on virtuous people far too much. And doesn't take into account things like, intellectual property and artists and disabled people. And, I mean, there's lots of stuff that it's wrong. But Poseidist? Sure, Poseidist. But anyway, moving on. He also is trying to make good with Pakistan, which I guess is better than being hawkish. Did you? He talked about the mother of all bombs thing, the Moab they dropped in Afghanistan, like at the beginning of his term, and he basically is jacking off, like, the military again, saying, "Oh, they said we could make more of them, but I said not to do that. I don't want to go that route." Like, why are bombs the first thing this fucking guy thinks of? British Trump is our new PM tomorrow. Oh, you have Boris Johnson, right? Isn't that the guy? Is that the right name? Boris Johnson?
I don't know anything about that. I don't follow international politics a ton. Unless it directly relates to U.S. foreign policy at the very least. And I know that does, for sure, but sure. I haven't looked into it.
There is no military solution in Afghanistan. I think that's Khan agreed with Trump. There must be that might be Khan. If you go all out military, there'll be millions and millions of people who die. I'm, I guess, a little happy that he's trying not to go full hawk here. But like, again, he said the part you're not supposed to say out loud.
See, what scares you know what scares me about that statement? I can almost see in a meeting somewhere him trying to launch a nuke. And a general explaining to him why he can't do that. And he's going, "Sir, you don't want to kill tens of millions of people, do you?" And he goes, "You're right. Maybe I don't." And that's the line he remembered.
Well, 10 million people. Yeah, he says it a lot. That's the kind of gist I got as well, that someone said, "We expect 10 million casualties in this scenario." And then he's like, "Oh, that's the number." Shane Fraser with $2, waiting for Trump to acknowledge the Area 51 raid. I have a question. What group of people would you be in the Area 51 raid? Are you with the Naruto runners? Are you trying to be a gamer? Like, are you going to infiltrate the furries? Are you going to just buy a fursuit for the occasion?
I'm going to be with the shit posters.
The shit posters?
Yeah,
it's pretty good. What are they gonna do? Just blow up social media so no one can get a grip on what's going on, or I don't.
Yeah, disinformation campaign.
Oh, so you're a Russian? You're just a Russian? Yeah. Okay, that works. I think personally, I'm gonna be with the Chads, because real Chads are gonna be a lot faster than me, so they're gonna die first, and then by the time I get there, the ammo will be out, and then I'll get to meet the aliens. I think that's probably fine.
The internet is so stupid. By the way, I tweeted like an Area 51 thing the other day. It got like the most retweets I think I've ever gotten. The internet is a strange place.
Let me see where you're at. Let's go look up the old Hugo. Oh yeah. Where's your Area 51 tweet? Where is it?
You'll see it. It's a picture of a military guy giving a group of soldiers a briefing on what Naruto running is.
Oh my god. Night Monkey? What the fuck is that?
Night Monkey
What
from
is that?
it's from the new Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Well, this couldn't have been all the way back then.
No,
Did I
it would have
miss
been
it?
after.
Media?
Maybe.
Am I just stupid? I want to see this tweet now.
Here
Here it is. Here it is.
Yeah.
We did it, internet. With the support of the Area 51 petition, we've reached peak meme penetration.
Yeah.
Wait, is that
I feel
real? Is that real?
I don't know. From what when I saw it, it was being passed off as real, but I'm not going to say it is. I don't know who posted it. I don't know the person, so.
That's good. That
Part
is
of me
good.
hopes it's real because I feel like it's not the most ridiculous thing in the world if something like that becomes a meme for them to at least brief people like, hey, there's
Sure.
a stupid joke going around. If you hear about it, here's what it is. And fuck it. You know what? Honestly, people in the military are just human beings. Maybe they threw it in there as like a self-referential joke. Like, hey, you guys have seen all this Area 51 shit, right?
Just feel bad for the Darwin Awards. I don't think. How many people do you think are actually going to show up?
Oh, no one's going to show up.
No one.
I shouldn't
Not
say,
one.
I shouldn't say no one. There are crazy people on the internet. I could see a maximum of 100 actual crazy people showing up
Sure.
who will be immediately escorted away from the premises.
I thought you were gonna say immediately executed on the grounds.
Wouldn't that be the most fucking insane thing if that was America's
Tiananmen Square.
Yes. It's a fucking Area 51
I
raid.
think America's Tiananmen Square was when the hippie put the flower in the rifle. I think that was at Kent State or something. But you know,
They didn't shoot them in the face, though. That's just a famous picture.
yeah. So
They did shoot her in the face in Watchmen, I think.
it was in Watchmen. They did, yeah. Jeffrey Petron, who's to say what's real anymore? No one. Poseidus John, with $5 as well. Area 51 raid is the most Poseidus movement in recent history, and I can't not support it more. Free our space comrades. What if they do unlock aliens? What if it fucking worked?
You know what?
What if there's an ET, but it's like 100 Chads?
If between 2016 and 2019, we've gone from Donald Trump being elected president and all the other crazy shit that's happened to literal aliens being revealed at Area 51, I'd be like, life isn't real. We're in the plot. We're side characters in the plot of a movie somewhere. We're in a video game. Some shit's not right. It would be very odd.
They shot people in Kent State. So the Kent State was the Kent State massacre.
Okay.
Where they did shoot students, but I don't think that picture was from there. I think it was after though, right?
I'm not exactly
It was
sure.
It was also I could be wrong. What is Jake? Nothing happened there. What do you mean nothing happened there? Nothing happened.
There's a meme on the internet about Tiananmen Square.
You
you act like nothing happened because of Chinese censorship.
Right. Okay. I was talking about Kent State, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure something happened at Kent State. Howdy, Papa. I'm late. Howdy, Caligula Salad. Actually, I shouldn't say hi to you. You haven't super chatted yet, and it is your ritual. What do you think is going to be our next war?
Oh God, it's a boring answer, but probably Iran. I feel like Trump was kind of testing the waters a little bit a couple weeks back or whenever when the drone got shot down and he was kind of revving the engines of war there. But once he saw that or at the very least, once his advisors saw that it was like a very bad political move, people are very over this Middle East conflict bullshit.
Yeah.
I think he backed off, and I'm hoping he learned a lesson there that like it's not 2001 anymore. You can't just declare war and send troops and hope it improves your numbers. At least I'd hope that's the case. But who knows? There are enough dumb people in this country who are rah America no matter what. So I don't know. If it's not Iran, I'm gonna throw a wild card and say Australia because Trump is just odd, and that
Jesus
seems like
Christ.
the kind of thing he would do. Like he wouldn't even bomb Sydney. He'd just bomb the outback.
Just the middle
yeah,
part. Make it
just
a
to show he
bowl.
could.
Caligula salad. Wow, okay, thanks for the $2. A big reward. Jake, do you have a Twitch stream schedule or somewhere where you post your streaming? I don't have a strict schedule because of the way Charisma Saves floats around. But basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday are pretty safe bets. Monday we're going to be streaming here. Which is twitch.tv/actualjake if you're interested. We do a lot of cool stuff there. What was I gonna? I was reading something. Oh, you forgot about Sudan? No, I agree. I think it's gonna be Iran. And I don't know necessarily for why. I don't. What reason? Like, we had the nuclear deal, and now I don't like it. Let's bomb them. Let's get them good. Joseph Santy with $5. Have you clicked the take a look button to see the new horrible Twitter layout? I would rather a 2-minute edit window to posts, not this.
I haven't. Let me check it out. Unless it's a beta that's only available to certain people. Oh, yeah. Let me take a look. Oh, it looks like it's optimized for mobile. I'm not a fan.
How do I take a look? Where's that at?
It's just on my homepage.
Oh, I'm scared to go on my homepage on here. I follow cam girls.
Oh fuck! How do I go back?
I follow Quinn, and so
yeah.
Take a look. Where's it at? Where's it at? Do I already have it?
I don't like when they try and optimize desktop versions to match mobile versions. Have a separate mobile version. Even if most people use the mobile version, that's great. But the desktop version, I felt the same way about the Windows version, where it was all the tiles. So cumbersome on desktop. It's a nightmare.
Display. Lights out. Done. All I have is night mode. I don't have anything significant. Why is that not?
Maybe it's just a beta being rolled out to some people, but not everyone. How do I turn it back to the normal Twitter?
I don't know.
Can I not? Am I just stuck with this now?
I don't know.
That's life, I guess. Every day I wake up a little bit worse and go, am I stuck with this now?
Jake already took a look. Apparently. 24-hour show. Yes. What's today? It's Monday, right? I'm thinking Wednesday or Thursday. I have to spend some time tomorrow nailing down the donate page, and then I'll have an actual date for you guys. Hoping they
look, there's a dark mode though. Yeah. In the new Twitter. That's nice.
I must have been forced into it because I didn't have an option. It just looked shitty. Although it happened when I updated Google Chrome and it happened, so maybe that was it.
Okay. I don't use Twitter on desktop a ton anyway. I use it on mobile. When I do use it on desktop, I'm not a huge fan of that. Anyway, whatever.
I'm so tired of Middle Eastern wars, man.
Yeah. I'd imagine the people in the Middle East are as well, since many of their family members have died, probably. Assuming you're a random person in Iraq or Afghanistan. You probably know someone who's been fucking murdered.
Yeah. I know. 30-second delay with YouTube. It is worse. It's a lot worse than Twitch. Anyway. So, I got a Blaze article. House Republicans move to permanently remove gun-free school zones from federal law.
Ugh.
So
You know what schools need more of these days? Guns.
Have you ever been in a classroom where the kids were just real shitty to the teacher? Like incessantly? Yeah. I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
It was, I think, 8th grade. Maybe 9th grade. Stop tech censorship. Conservative voices are being suppressed. Join the Blaze daily and make sure you get the stories that matter. No, I'll stick with fake news. Thank you, the Blaze. Literally an option. No, I'll stick with fake news. I feel like her name was Mrs. Washburn. Anyway, she was a pretty good looking. She was in her mid to late 20s by the time she started teaching us, and a bunch of teenage boys were very excited that she was around from time to time. And she exacerbated that problem by wearing, for Halloween, all the teachers dressed up. She wore a Hooters uniform.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, very, very yikesy. And then it got really weird. But she also had...
then it got weird after your teacher wore an incredibly inappropriate costume.
That was when it got weird, yeah. What happened was she was getting a lot of shit for it, for good reason, obviously.
Yeah.
She did it with 12 and 13-year-old kids, who are the worst human beings that have ever existed. Once you hit 12 years old, you become scum until you graduate high school. That's pretty much it. And so she ended up... This is so stupid. She took some, was it masking tape? The like off-white yellow kind of tape, and made she outlined a square on the floor, the carpeted floor of the classroom. And if you spoke out of turn, you stood in the square as like a timeout thing. And she got panned so much, and she started putting people in squares and shit. And she did it to, like, the worst possible students. And then one of the kids just, she said, okay, you don't say anything that's going to offend anyone, or you're going to the principal's office or whatever. So you have to stay there for, I forget how long. And it's this kid, Zach. He ended up dying later in life. He had a heroin overdose. But he was pretty funny. But he said, okay, I won't say anything. And he just goes... like, she cried and quit.
Okay, that story had a decent enough payoff.
Yeah.
Nice.
If Hugo molested me, I'd say, no, Hugo, no, don't stop. Don't stop, please. Don't stop. Thank you, Chris. It's pretty odd.
Yeah.
Pretty odd. Was the teacher hot?
You people wonder why I don't stream. Jesus Christ.
I feel like she was hot, but again, it was like 2002-ish. And so I don't really know, right? I don't know what was, because I remember thinking we had a student teacher once in 5th grade, and everyone's like, "Oh, she's so hot," and she hasn't changed a thing since 1997 or 8 or whatever it was.
Oh.
And I don't think she's attractive whatsoever now.
Sure.
So I don't know. Proving Jake grew up at Saved by the Bell's Bayside High. That's true. Oh, what was that story about? That story was about teachers, and if she had a gun, she would have shot that motherfucker where he stood. I guarantee. She was livid. She could not handle this. So if you take away a gun-free place, like, and make schools have guns in them, you're going to create such an unsafe environment. Teachers do not have their shit together. I went to high school, and one of the teachers spent her lunch hours getting high with the senior class.
We had some teachers at my school who would get high on the regular as well.
What the fuck?
The stereotypical one, which makes sense, the art teacher, but he had a medical license. I don't know how much he actually needed it relative to how much he just wanted it. I don't really care. He was an art teacher, whatever. But also the wood shop teacher would get high. And you know, when you're teaching kids around like circular saws,
yeah, not a good look.
and stuff that can kick back at you when you're trying to use like a planer or whatever, and stuff can get stuck when you're teaching kids lathes. You probably shouldn't be high. Like if you want to. If you want to get high and go to your wood shop at home and make a nice table, like I get that. Do what you're gonna do, but maybe not around kids. Not a good idea.
Maybe not. Probably not. No. Adam Anomaly with $2.79 in Canadian fun money. In 8th grade, we made a teacher cry. Sent us home. Aren't you from Canada? Did you not say bless you when they sneezed and then it was just over? What was I gonna say? What did you just got done saying? What the fuck
I was talking about the high teacher thing.
Oh. And then you talked about the woodshop teacher. My woodshop teacher did not smell like weed. My woodshop teacher got gastric bypass.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely humongous. He was easily like 500 or 600 pounds before the bypass, and then he of course started losing weight. But he ate constantly. Like,
okay,
I think you're supposed to snack all day. I don't actually know how it works, but his snacks were fucking Reese's peanut butter cups. So, and he would get really, really fucking close to you, so it always smelled like bad peanut butter and morning breath. It was fucking terrible. And he was he was a question talker too. He'd be like, so why do we call this cherry wood? Because it's wood from a cherry tree. And it's like, he would always start with a question.
Yeah,
awful.
That's dumb.
I hated it. I did not like that man. Not at all. My friend from school later in life died of a heart attack, but he had a weak heart. Small meals. Is it small meals? That might be it.
I definitely know for a fact my mom had gastric bypass. Like, once you're done with that, you're not supposed to still eat junk food. Like,
right, you're supposed to eat healthy, right?
It's supposed to help you along with your new healthy diet, but it's not an end-all be-all if you still eat like shit. Like, you're not even supposed to drink soda because it expands your stomach.
Yeah.
And your stomach, if you don't know, in a gastric bypass, they, like, basically shrink your stomach by, I assume, sewing off a portion of it or something like that. And lap band does something similar. There are different stuff that does different things, but the same basic result. You have less room to put stuff in your stomach, but the stuff you put in it is still supposed to be good for you, especially because you can't eat very much. Like, you need to make sure you're hitting your macros as far as your nutrients are concerned, otherwise you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah. He had to lose weight before he got the surgery, like most people.
Yeah.
But I didn't have his class until after he got the thing. He was just around a lot. I made a chessboard in that shop class. It was dope. He couldn't figure out how to make, because I was a freshman when I took that class, and freshmen weren't allowed to use the saws, so he had to make the saws. He was a woodshop teacher for like 40 years, and he couldn't make 45-degree angles. It was really infuriating. Back on topic to guns in schools, how many times do you think you would have been shot to smithereens by teachers just going off the deep end?
Me personally,
well, no,
zero.
like maybe just caught in the crossfire.
Let me think.
I feel like at least 2 situations there would have been gunfire in the room had there been guns available to the teachers.
I can think of at least one. I was in middle school, and there was this kid that in science class was just, there's kids that are just like loud and annoying every day and making jokes and stuff. And I'm not talking about someone who legitimately like tells a funny joke or whatever.
Sure.
Like, that's fine. I'm talking about being very disruptive during like the lesson and like not being constructive at all. Anyway, one day, and you know how bad school budgets are, and teachers have to buy their own shit a lot of the time,
right?
Especially non-essentials. There was a fan in the classroom, and this kid, like a stand-up fan. I guess I don't know what they're called, like an oscillating fan.
Yeah.
And I guess in his head, I don't know what the thought was. It's the kind of thought only a middle school boy can have, where I guess you think, what if I stuck a pencil in the fan while it's going as fast as it can?
Wow.
And being a teenage boy, or a tweenage boy, whatever age he happened to be, he took it upon himself to experiment, as this was science class, and he jammed a pencil right in there, and the fan blade, being plastic,
blew up.
Immediately exploded,
Yeah.
and it made the worst noise. It was amazing. And the teacher was so mad. Oh, there was one other thing that this one was actually my fault. There was a different science teacher in high school that I talked to a lot. I talked to teachers. I've always related to people who are older than me, for the most part, so I talked to teachers a lot. But he had set up this experiment for physics class. I don't know what it was. I didn't take that class, but I was just in between classes. I had a class next door, so I was going to see what he was doing. And he was setting up this experiment, and he literally said, "Don't touch that." And again, the kind of thing a high schooler thinks, just being dumb. Without thinking, I immediately touched it. And the whole contraption, which was like levers and pulleys and I assume he was trying to explain like the basic machines and how they work with force and how they,
sure.
It all fell apart, and he just had the look on his face like he was mad, but he's so mad he can't even express the anger. He was just like, and I was like, I am so sorry. And I left. So
Caligula salad. Then the teacher took out his AR-15.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to think if I really fucked up a teacher's anything at any point. I was a pretty good kid for the most part. I didn't really talk back a lot, which is surprising probably to hear. But I didn't have a lot of terrible teachers until college. My worst teacher in high school was I think we mentioned him last time or another time. He was actually a rocket scientist trying to teach algebra to high school kids. Absolutely terrible at teaching. But he wasn't like a bad guy. He was just bad at his job.
If he got cancer, would he have had his own Breaking Bad moment where he starts building missiles for North Korea or something?
Probably. He definitely could have. I do remember a situation where another student probably would have been shot. One time, I was in gym class, or whatever it was called, and we were playing basketball, and one of the kids lost a game and was really mad, and we're seniors at this point too. We're almost going to be adults in the world with jobs and responsibilities, and he got really pissed off and started swearing and shit, and the gym teacher was like, dude, you gotta calm down. I need you to stand the fuck over there and chill out. This is a lot. You're making people uncomfortable. Like, it was pretty reasonable. He's kind of a douchebag, so like the gym teacher, so like kind of over the year he can just be grading. And it was summertime, so we were definitely near the end of our turn in school at all. But I remember him saying like the kid was like, I just got into this school, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it was like the University of Michigan or something. You're a gym teacher. You're nothing. You mean nothing. You got a divorce. Like it just went in. Just went in on this guy. And the gym teacher has lifted weights his entire life. His biceps are as large as my head. I am not exaggerating. I saw him in Meyer 3 weeks ago. He is still humongous. And he walked over to this kid, who, by the way, is shorter than I am and was very scrawny in high school as a basketball player, very lithe. Walked over to him and looked down at him and said, "What did you say?" It was he got in the fucking kid's face. I was very surprised there weren't hands thrown. It was very interesting. It was actually really wild. Wrath of Controversy. See, these stories and the Atheist movie reviews are why I'm still subbed and okay with donating. Disagreement doesn't mean hate. Love y'all. What disagreement? You can't disagree with us. We're correct. We're correct, damn it. Thank you for your $5. Gym teacher. I did. I saw him at Meyer. I don't know. Do you think guns make people safe, Hugo? What a bold question to ask you.
I have a little bit more of a nuanced answer than I think most people might expect, as lefty as I am. I'm very much for reasonable gun regulations and things probably many people would even find unreasonable gun regulations, for instance. I'm okay with limitations on semi-automatics. And yes, I do mean semi-automatics, including just handguns that you just pull the trigger and you don't have to like cock it or anything. I know you have to initially do it, but I'm talking about I'm most okay with things like revolvers and bolt-action rifles and things like that. As far as I'm concerned, that's basically what you need for self-defense. Beyond that, I don't really see the purpose. You don't need to be shooting that quick in most survival situations, unless if you're like a farmer who lives out in the middle of nowhere and you need something for like bears or coyotes or whatever, fine, I totally get that too. But I'm talking about personal protection reasons. I feel like a revolver should be enough for the most part.
I tend to agree. Pump action shotgun and a bolt action rifle. I think those three things take care of pretty much any utility you can come up with for owning a weapon.
And I understand wanting to own a weapon. I understand wanting to take your own protection into your own hands, so to speak. It's not something I feel the need to do at this current time, but I understand why people do it, and that's fine. I find the people who want them in case the government becomes corrupt or whatever to be hilarious, though, because they're often these right-wing Republican people. And, like, no, that would end up in a fucking Handmaid's Tale situation if things went and hit the fan, which is fucked. But I also find it funny because the U.S. military, no matter how many guns and AR-15s you might have at your house, you don't have shields from a drone. You can't take on a tank. You and your little stockpile of weapons.
You couldn't even take on like a member of the military. Like, just one member of the military. Caligula salad, $2. Here's some of the more of that dead dad cash, just because. Hey, I appreciate you. There's some people that mistook what you said. Semi-automatic means you have to pull the trigger each time. We both know this. Do you realize you can fire off a bunch of shots really fast from a revolver? Yes, 6 of them. Not 13 of them. Not more than that. And you have to reload, and most people aren't fucking, spinning their guns around like cowboys and don't have the loader for them. Like these things obviously have a lower killing potential than like a Glock 9mm for instance. Not to mention, like, anything that's magazine fed is pretty much a no-go for me, unless there's some sort of thing that allows it to fire more slowly. For instance, a bolt action, which is technically magazine fed in some models. Napalm doesn't care about your stockpile. I think I don't think we should have open carry. I don't think we should have. I do think concealed carry is fine for smaller weapons. Again, like a revolver, I think is probably okay. I would like to limit the kind of caliber we're talking. I don't think you need something that can literally blow someone's head off, or create like massive like damage, but definitely something that you can pull out and use as protection for sure. Reload fast like revolver ocelot. Yep. Listen here, Jake. The SKS Ion with a 75-round drum is highly practical. No. I do think a buyback makes a lot of sense. It worked in Australia. It works in a lot of places. I think you can make a really good case for changing the Second Amendment to include the term, the right to reasonably bear arms, instead of just bear arms in general. And I don't understand why everyone's so precious about it. It's fucking weird to me. And honestly, I'm totally fine for, like, if later on, if you decide that, like, and by the way, I think probably medical professionals should be the ones in charge of something like this, along with, weapons experts and stuff, and be counseled. But I think it should be, should be something that, like, maybe once every 10 years or something, you can
go back and
shall not be infringed unless you change it because it's an amendment. It doesn't matter.
Shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
Also, the words well regulated are in that. If you'd like to read the whole thing, fucker.
I mean, it also says says a lot of stuff that we contradict, right? So no person shall be held to answer for, or the right of people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, effects against unreasonable searches and seizures should not be violated unless you're Donald Trump and you say that brown people don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why stop and frisk was unconstitutional, things like that. So you say it shall not be infringed, but it's not being infringed, right? The fact that you don't own a tank doesn't mean that your right to bear arms is being infringed. And if you read it like that, you're dumb. You're a dumb person, and you shouldn't have much of a say in how this thing is interpreted, because that's not what the document is talking about. The document, like at the time, for instance, when this was written, it didn't mean that like every person in the world could have access to high-end military weaponry, right? Like, they weren't handing out cannons, right? Mm-hmm. Just silly. Yeah. I would like to have a limit on arms. I'm also for, by the way, all these cool ass guns that are tons of fun to shoot, which I have shot many really cool guns that are fun. I'm totally fine with having spaces that you can call it a if you do get fucking Red Dawned, it's a military cache and the community can go there and get your big old scary weapons and stuff. But I have no problem with you recreationally shooting a machine gun as much as you want in a secure environment. I also think that personal liability insurance on a weapon meant to hurt people is probably a lot a real good use, as opposed to just cars getting that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's for that. And so if my kid is playing with your kid, right, and they have a sleepover, and my kid finds your fucking gun because you can't keep it responsibly and blows his head off, I better get some fucking compensation for that, or vice versa, right? So we should be having a lot more reasonable talks about this. People get way too emotional about this, right? And they don't think. Like, are you religious? If you're not religious, then what's written down in a book shouldn't matter to you. It should be okay. Well, should we evaluate the times that we live in and the arms we're discussing in the situation, or do you just follow this religiously without any skepticism whatsoever? It doesn't make any arguments very good when it comes from a pro-gun person. I think they're almost always pretty dickless as far as like the efficacy of an argument. It's very fucking silly. I don't know what else to say about it. Anything else you want to add?
Nah, guns in schools is a bad idea, but at the very least, this particular article is talking about people bringing it up in the House, and the House is currently controlled by Democrats, so this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Pancakes guy. Hey, thanks for following. Well, next up, we have a really, really great thing. Have you opened this tweet and listened to this?
The
Elon Musk is holding a science fair for students to share their Hyperloop ideas because he can't come up with a good idea himself. We spoke to a previous winner who's also competing this weekend about her vision. Did you want to preface this?
No, I can talk about it afterward. It's fine.
Game Junkie. My dad is a police officer, accidentally shot my little brother when he snuck up on him in the house. Yeah, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about, man. Lifting the ban on research for the CDC would be great. The Center for Disease Control to research gun violence. I don't know why I don't know what a good argument besides they paid me not to let them. I don't know what argument you could possibly make that says no, we should not research gun violence. A good argument. Like, in what world? Like, if actually your guns make people safer, wouldn't you want the research to come out to show that guns are a net positive?
You'd think so.
Tossing that out there. If you're scared of people learning the truth, then you're probably not correct.
The work that you guys are doing is going to blow people's minds.
Elon Musk called for the brightest engineering teams from all across the world to begin designing vehicles on this test track, this Hyperloop track that he promised to build at SpaceX's headquarters in Hawthorne. My name is Deborah Navarro, and I'm a founder of Guadalupe.
Guadalupe
is a transportation-based research group out of the University of Texas. We were selected as one of the top 20 teams from across the world to actually build and test our prototype.
The loop is currently pumping down. The team is doing their final countdown once more.
I want to see what their loop looks like.
The Hyperloop is the proposed fifth mode of transportation, and it builds on learnings from boats, planes, trains, and cars. We wanted to be the first team in the world to ever prove that air levitation works as a mode of transport for the Hyperloop. We hauled this vehicle that we made, this air levitation.
So this is not the type of Hyperloop that Elon's talking about. This person's like, it should be a vehicle unto itself that uses air levitation to move through. That's very interesting.
Well, okay, in reporting of the Hyperloop and the Loop, the media tends to conflate the two. They're two very separate and distinct ideas. There are two ideas. There's the Loop, which is just within a city, public transit, air quote, public transit, because you need to own a car to use it.
That's
so
stupid. And very unsafe.
It's public transit, basically, in name only. It's an underground car tunnel. Which was originally also supposed to use some skates or a pod of some sort, but skates which your car connects to in conjunction with also having public pods. But it's now, as happens with basically every Elon Musk claim, gets boiled down until it like is realistic and like not an insane sci-fi idea that isn't feasible today. So now it's just a car tunnel. The Hyperloop is a completely separate project, which is a city-to-city transit system in theory, which is a tunnel. It's a tube rather that you pump all of the air out of to almost a complete vacuum, and then you shoot the pod through it with people in it. Therefore, you don't have to deal with air resistance, and you can move much faster than your typical maglev train.
Sounds incredibly dangerous as well.
Not only is it dangerous for many reasons, Thunderfoot has some videos on this. Want to go check them out?
Oh.
I know. He comes off as smug, and he's dipped his toe in the anti-SJW.
Dipped his toe? He's dipped his whole nutsack in it.
I know. But at the very least, his information on those is
I like his science
correct.
videos.
Problems with the Hyperloop are if it depressurizes, everyone in it dies. Every single person in it fucking dies. And secondly, it's basically impossible with modern technology to create a vacuum chamber as large as it would need to be to connect from city to city. It's just not feasible. I'm not going to say it'll never be possible in far in the future with some materials we don't have today. I don't know. But with current building materials and methods, we cannot do this. Elon Musk just made shit up. And as pointed out by other people, he didn't even come up with this idea of the Hyperloop. The idea of a vacuum train has existed for like 100 years. It's just not feasible. Anyway, so this isn't even the first time he's done a... Did the video end, by the way? I couldn't hear it from my end. So.
Well, let me do a super chat. Poseidus John with $5 to say that we couldn't possibly rebel against the military is absurd. Look at the Viet Cong. They were just farmers. And yet...
the Viet Cong were in their own country.
What?
And also they didn't have military bases all over. The United States is the military's homeland, and they also have military bases everywhere.
Yep.
So no, you are wrong.
Yep.
You are wrong.
Yep. Also, we don't have jungles.
Yeah.
We're all pretty much out in the open, and they have census information to determine where to be. And if the United States government wanted the citizenry of the United States to be dead, we would be so. It wouldn't make any sense, which is why I don't think it makes any sense to be worried about it. But yeah. Oh, Thunderfoot. I'm not done with the video actually, but let me finish the rest of it.
Transportation-based vehicle that we made in our lab space. We drive it from Austin, Texas to LA to get to SpaceX's headquarters in Hawthorne. And we show up and we blow them away when we show that air levitation works. Elon Musk is always at the competitions. He walks around at the competitions and he's swarmed by, flocks of all of these young, kids that are so nerdy and stuff, but maybe I shouldn't say that. Our vision is growing, and I think my goal is for by the time, I'm 30.
Why? By the time you're 30.
I've never thought about this, but it's like about 5 years from now. I want to see a Hyperloop connecting two cities, and I believe it can happen.
I don't understand. You'd have to have like safety measures in place. And basically, she ends the video with saying, within the next 5 years, I want to see a Hyperloop connecting two cities. What happens if something goes wrong, or it gets punctured, or there happens to be a bad storm, or there's a failure inside? Are there exits nearby? Does it ruin the vacuum seal if they take an exit? Would they even be able to traverse the inside of it if the vacuum is in place, but they're trapped in the car? Like, what the fuck? There's so many things.
Here's the thing. There's also the factor of which Thunderfoot brings up. Thermal expansion. It's made of metal, the tube. And as you guys may or may not know, metal contracts and expands based on the heat put on it, even a little bit. You wouldn't necessarily notice, but on a track as long as the proposed Hyperloop, it would apparently expand from its shortest to its longest in a day by a football field, by a full football field worth of space. That's the difference between its hottest and coolest lengths when it's that temperature. So you can't have that and have a vacuum seal with modern technology. Again, someday maybe, but the technology doesn't exist, and I don't believe the people at Tesla or the Boring Company or even SpaceX have the capability to design that today. It would be such an absolute quantum leap in technology. It would revolutionize so many fields. I just don't see it happening.
I guess I just don't know. I don't know how you could possibly. It's kind of he does it with Tesla too. I just there's so many questions that don't just have easy answers, right? Like I have an easy answer for like when I'm proposing the car. What happens if you hit a tree? Well, maybe we'll put seatbelts in it, and they'll hold you down so you can't get launched out of the car. What if you hit the steering wheel? Well, maybe we'll create a mechanism that has like some padding and should mitigate some of the damage. Won't prevent it, but could mitigate it. What if you roll over? Well, we'll have really strong steel framing. Like there's lots of really easy answers to this kinds of questions until you get to this point when you're like, okay, what if it decompresses? Does everything just fucking go nuts? Like, it has to decompress at what point during the trip? The whole thing has to be perfect the whole time. It's absolutely crazy. My boss went to Michigan, came back to Georgia sick for 3 weeks. Sorry, Chris. It wasn't me.
By the way, the test chamber they have there at Tesla, which isn't very long, but they do have a test section of Hyperloop that they use to do these tests and stuff. And even that takes like half an hour just to pump out the air from just that small section, and it's not even like 10% of what it would be. And every time you have people getting on and off the Hyperloop, sure, you can have like multiple chambers and airlocks that'll kind of help keep the pressure, but you're always going to be losing in some of that vacuum when different trains come on and off of it.
No.
So it's,
I don't know.
For the record, though, I do considering I do like the idea of science fairs and engineering fairs for kids, and teens, and I don't think this experience is going to be negative for them. I think them designing these pods or whatever is fine, and they'll get a chance to learn some new things.
Oh, for sure.
The Hyperloop itself is a bad idea.
Caligula Salad, $5. I don't get why, if he cares so much about public transit, he doesn't just spend his time and effort building normal-ass subway lines.
Because he doesn't care about public transit, he cares about pocketing taxpayer money
and
via
investor
subsidies and investor money by trying to push these insane sci-fi ideas that are more fi than sci.
Poseidus John, you think U.S. soldiers would be willing to massacre U.S. citizens like that? Drone attacks killing civs wouldn't just radicalize us against the government more. No, I don't think they would, which is why I think it's silly to say I need guns for their tyrannical government. Because
I think certain soldiers would.
Maybe, certain, but certainly not half, right? I don't think half of all our standing military members would kill people, which means if you can't even get to half, it means at least another half is going to be like, no, fuck you, and they'll kill those guys. So, like, I just don't really see that being a foreseeable thing. And if they could, right? If the military is actually doing it, first of all, you don't support the military. If you're a conservative and you're a Second Amendment guy, almost ubiquitously, you're like, yeah, fucking go military, support the troops, support... Oh, blue lives matter, right? When really the fact that you're armed to the teeth makes blue lives fucking really concerned about those lives because everyone is capable of murdering them at every single fucking traffic stop. Yeah, it's soldiers are citizens as well, and they're not going to do anything like that. I'd be very surprised. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see like aspects of our militarized police force, ICE, National Guard, etc., mobilized towards certain communities. That happens already. But a countrywide tyranny, that's not gonna, not in any way that's going to be, you're not gonna be able to push back with it with your fucking banana clip.
Yeah.
In your AR-15 or whatever you have, or gun nuts will kill the minorities for the government. The government just need to turn a blind eye. I don't think they're doing that yet, but yeah. Cops sign up for a job that entails risking their lives to protect others. Yeah, and in that, it creates a lot of stress due to underfunding and overworking, and it creates a situation in which cops are more stressed, and if they're more stressed and they're more sleep deprived, they're not getting all the time off they need necessarily, and they're not compensated properly. You do your job more poorly, and if you do your job more poorly when there's lives in the fucking balance, you end up shooting, gun owners like Philando Castile in Minnesota, and you're just a piece of shit, and then you your whole infrastructure of policing falls apart like it is now, right? No one fucking trusts police, and that's because of this kind of bullshit. Poseidus John, I do not support the troops or the pig cops. No, I know. I'm just saying that's what people do. Police firebombing black neighborhood, 1985 Philly. Yep. I'm in the Army, and I've heard certain Republican peers of mine express excitement at getting involved in a civil war. Oh, yeah, I mean, there's lots of people that are like that. But I don't think it's a majority at all. Any more on Elon? On the Elon phenomenon?
It was just a little fluff piece. Kids, do your science, do your engineering, be better than Elon Musk. Those kids know more about engineering than Elon Musk does, I guarantee it.
Do you think there's a good idea Elon Musk has had?
Let me think about it. Selling to PayPal when they offered him the money. That was pretty good. I mean, so far he's been proficient at bilking investors. So if you look at it from that standpoint, as someone who just wants to get investor money, fuck progress, I mean, he's doing a good job there. Sure. I don't know.
Wrath of Controversy. Speaking as a vet, most military would not kill Americans en masse on any large scale. We have actual escalation of force rules that cops don't follow. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think this idea that you need money or guns to kill fucking military members makes a lot of sense. I mean, even beyond the fact, like consider the fact that the military isn't going to do that, right? But beyond that, most citizens with a gun license are gonna get fucking destroyed by a basic, an army guy. Like, we're not talking, Marines, we're not talking Navy SEALs, we're talking just, even a National Guard person puts in more time than your average gun owner. It's gonna, and they're, gonna be more tactically sound, they're gonna have the infrastructure to back them up, they're gonna have armored personnel carriers, they're gonna have better weaponry in general, I mean, they're gonna have the advances of drones, they're gonna have intel, I mean, there's just so much that you can't fucking do, and so it just makes no sense at all. I'm trying to think. What do you think? Okay, how about this? Right before we move on, just spending 2 more minutes on science and stuff. What's like something within the next 5 to 10 years? There's a pie in the sky piece of technology out there that you think maybe it's gonna happen. Is there something cool out there that you're thinking about? Hey Jake, will you explain your thoughts on ACAB? What's that again? Did ACAB? We brought it up last week.
I forgot already.
Me too. All cops are bastards. I disagree. I just don't trust any cops because a lot of cops are bastards.
As far as the technology, I mean, it's gonna be boring because I'm relatively conservative in my estimates about stuff like this, because I feel like technology is almost never, and I say almost because obviously there are exceptions to this rule, almost never revolutionary. It's usually iterative in the sense that it is built upon the foundation that was already there. So it's usually not something that is unveiled and you go, oh my god, this is sci-fi technology. But I think what we'll get in the next 5 to 10 years, more foldable tech and stuff like that, and phones and tablets. That seems like it's going to be coming soon. Samsung has been trying with the Galaxy Fold, but they had to recall them because there's issues. But I still think that's a technology that will get ironed out in the next few years or so. Stuff like that. Maybe cheaper screens, so you see them on more everyday things. I don't know. Again, I don't have any really revolutionary things that I follow and think are realistic. Elon says self-driving cars by next year. I don't believe that. I don't believe anyone will have self-driving cars in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So. I hope I'm wrong, for the record. I hope I'm very wrong on this. I just don't think I am.
I see. There's people in chats doing the all cops are bastards thing. I can't get on board with anything that is blankety. I'm not even comfortable saying all Republicans are assholes, right? You know what I mean?
Sure.
All Donald Trump supporters are pieces of garbage, right? I can't get by that. I can't. It's probably very common that I would think that is the case. But like, if you support Donald Trump today, you might do everything else that I think makes you a good person besides voting for that guy. You know what I mean? Like that person probably exists in a theoretical space. There's no way that you could blanket any group of people, unless it's like, unless it's a small group, like all Hugo and Jake, both Hugo and Jake are white. Yes, that's true. Like you can blanket us that way, but you can't blanket like all people named Jake are bastards. You couldn't possibly do that. You could say, though, I do think that like the way we police is very reactive instead of proactive. We don't have enough community outreach. There isn't a system that incentivizes positive contact with police officers. It's only a negative reinforcement. They're hyper-militarized. The prison and jail system in this country is fucking terrible, including private prisons and cash bail, mandatory sentencing. I mean, there's minimum sentencing. There's lots of really bad parts. Policing is just part of it, but to say that all cops are pieces of shit is untrue. Caligula Style with $2. Only a Sith speaks in absolutes. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's absolute, and I'm not for that. Literally know someone who always votes Republican purely because she's pro-life and a single issue voter. Single issue voters drive me nuts, but yeah, I agree. There's lots of people that are like that. Yeah, and I just can't get on board with that. I'm totally fine with assuming they're bastards, though. I do. But if you meet a nice cop, don't be fucking surprised. They do exist.
Voting for Trump because you're pro-life is stupid to me, because I would put money on the fact that he's paid for some people to get abortions. I would put money on it. Ugh.
Okay, moving on. Here's the happy topic. the cleanse, if you will. Phase 4 of Marvel includes, in order, the Black Widow series on Disney Plus, the Falcon and the Winter.
That's a movie.
Oh, is it a movie? Oh, I thought they were doing a. Oh, you're right.
Nope.
Falcon and Winter Soldier is Disney Plus, though. The Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which brings back the Mandarin. WandaVision, which is a Disney Plus thing. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The Loki series on Disney Plus, which has the only bad logo of the whole thing. The What If series in Disney Plus. The Hawkeye series in Disney Plus. And then Thor, Love and Thunder. Let's talk about them in order. And if you have nothing to say, that's totally fine. So first coming out on May 1st of 2020, which is...
I want to talk about the stuff that isn't on that list also, by the way.
Yes, there are Fantastic Four, X-Men, and one other thing, right? Blade. So we can talk about this after, just remind me.
Yep.
Black Widow, May 1st of 2020. I assume this is going to be a prequel. Do we know any details on this? I know I was going to say, you do the rumor mill thing, so...
Yeah, the rumor is it takes place between Civil War and Infinity War, and it's going to be... I don't know exactly what it's going to be about. No one does. Some people have speculated it's going to be about her meeting and training the next Black Widow, and that will lead into introducing the new Black Widow for, like, future Marvel movies, which is possible considering what happened in Endgame. I'm not going to say, but it's been long enough. You get it. David Harbour is in the movie. I'm really hoping it turns out he's playing Ben Grimm as a precursor to the Fantastic Four.
That's the rumor is he's going to be Ben Grimm.
It was
which
one
is
of
the
the
thing.
rumors,
Which is the
but
thing. There's Taskmaster is being talked about in chat.
Yeah, he might be playing Taskmaster, so I'm not sure. If he's playing Taskmaster, he's almost certainly not going to be Ben Grimm, which is unfortunate because I think he'd be a good cast for that. But whatever.
What does Taskmaster do?
Taskmaster has the ability to, once he sees you do something, he can copy you exactly. So, for instance, he can, if you have a specific fighting style, he can watch you once and then know exactly how to do it himself.
That's a good Black Widow villain.
Sure, and there's also, like, silly things. Like, for instance, he once, in order to train himself to be a better fighter, watched kung fu movies in fast forward, which then allowed him to do kung fu at super fast speed.
Oh, that is cheating.
But, you know, and I know he fights Deadpool sometimes, and he finds Deadpool incredibly frustrating to fight because Deadpool doesn't have, like, a style that he can copy or adapt to. Deadpool is just fucking crazy, so he's impossible to predict or something.
Sure.
So...
Poseidus John, could you check out Thought Slime's video on cops? Not today. Not on this day. But maybe another time. Are we excited for another Black Widow? Like, what I'm wondering if it'll be entertaining enough, I guess, because not, you know, no shade on Scarlett Johansson. They didn't build her character to be a lead, and so it's weird to me how they're going to make, like, almost any of the other characters, I think, besides Hawkeye, or Falcon, I mean, besides Falcon alone, could probably, maybe Winter Soldier alone, like Bucky, I don't think has enough going on. Those two together make sense, but Black Widow didn't seem to have, like, a lot. Maybe this will change it, of course, because, I mean, she's got a lot of time to be focused on, but Scarlett Johansson's a good actress,
She's been a solid support in some of the other movies. In Captain America Winter Soldier, really good job. You don't get a lot to her backstory, but I think this gives them a lot of leeway insofar as what they can do with the character. We know about, like, the Red Room, I think they called it, that she was in when she was training to be a Russian KGB super spy. So we'll probably get some more information on that. I think the fact... See, here's the thing. I take stuff like this as an opportunity for a writer to do something really good. And I think Scarlett Johansson is good enough in the role that she can perform it admirably. Thank you. Assuming it is written well. Who's actually writing Black Widow, or wrote Black Widow? Let me look it up. Black.
While you're looking that up, Mesu with $5. If you guys were making the What If movie, what would it be? What would the What If be? Oh, the What If is a series, so it's going to be. I think for instance, the first What If episode is going to be, what if Agent Carter was Captain America? I believe. What would a What If? What's a good What If story?
If I were doing it as a movie, I would make an anthology movie for sure.
Well, yeah, but just doing it as a series, how it is, I just don't think Mesu understood the format.
Maybe. I don't know. They might have just been asking if it was a movie. If that was the question, if it was a movie, I'd do it as an anthology. God, let me look up some of the covers from What If. They've done so many. What If Marvel?
I kind of like the idea of like, I like Spider-Man a lot. I like the idea of what if Eddie Brock got bitten and Peter Parker got symbioted at the beginning, to see like if it would be any different. What if Legion brings the X-Men into the MCU?
I doubt they would do that, considering
the TV
that
show?
Most people who watch who watch the Marvel movies probably don't watch the TV show. I mean, I like Legion a lot; it's a great show.
I watched the first 8 episodes on Hulu, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I do like Gwen. Any Spider-Gwen thing is cool. Who wrote who's writing Black Widow? You get that information?
Oh, sorry. Writer is Ned. Oh, there's 3 writers. Ned Benson, who has done nothing I'm aware of. Let me look at the other writers. Don Heck, who had writing credits on Iron Man 3, Infinity War, but I think that's just because he created some characters and he gets screenplays by Ned Benson and Jack Schaefer. Let me see what Jack Schaefer's done. Timer, I haven't seen that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't recognize any of the stuff the writers have done, so I don't know.
Well, I like the idea of just having like a kind of a send-off for her in general. I'll go watch it. I think it's probably going to be one of those movies that you could probably skip, like an Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man. I don't think you should skip the second, opposite. I think you could skip the second Ant-Man, even though it was fun. I think you could wait for the Netflix, or I assume these are going to be in perpetuity on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Which I think I will get. It looks like they have enough coming out. Well, how much is it going to be?
It's like $6.99 a month.
That's not bad at all. For all the Disney stuff, I love Disney. So,
yeah.
I mean, everybody loves Disney, and they own fucking everything, so.
The price is definitely a loss leader, though. After the first 2 years, they're going to jack that price up after they damage Netflix's subscriber base.
Can we talk about The Mandalorian? Did you know they're spending about $15 million per episode? God damn.
I'm excited for that. I'm more excited. I might be more excited for that than I am for episode 9. And I liked episode 8, and I'm excited for episode 9. But I think The Mandalorian and the other Disney series are going to be really, really good.
Yeah. So moving on to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I assume this is going to take place after the fact.
Yeah.
Do you have any information on that? Any rumories?
No, I know Anthony Mackie confirmed that he's already done his costume fitting for his new outfit, his new Captain America outfit, which is cool. If you've ever seen the comic book version of Cap Falcon, it's a great design. Maybe Jake, if you want to pull up an image or something. I really hope they kind of go with that look, and I hope he keeps his wings. I'd imagine he would. It's such a defining characteristic of the Falcon. But I don't actually have a lot of information about this. I assume it's going to be some sort of espionage, globe-trotting adventure. Baron Zemo has been confirmed to be coming back, the villain from Civil War.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I think he's one of the more underrated Marvel villains, considering he effectively did separate the Avengers, thus ushering into the events of Infinity War, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think he did. I think that he's one of the better villains in his... I mean... insofar as like his efficacy is concerned.
Yeah. And he's going to actually get his costume in the TV show, which I'm excited for, too. And considering this isn't a Netflix series, they probably won't wait until the last episode to give it to him.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I will miss the Marvel series, by the way, but there are some things about them that irked me, like giving people their costumes in the final episodes. Like, it's a comic book show. We want to see the outfit, guys.
Yeah. Did Falcon take the super soldier stuff? No, I don't know if he does, but
no, in the comics he doesn't, as far as I'm aware. I don't think they'll do that in the show. I think his ability, that'll probably honestly be part of his arc, will be dealing with the fact that he has to live up to Captain America, live up to Steve Rogers.
Right, without being that.
Yeah, I'd imagine that'll at least be part of it. It's possible they'll give him the super soldier serum. I wouldn't mind if they did, just to make it like he's the new Captain America, and so he has the same powers. It'd be fine. As long as he still has the wings, I'm good.
He's just a guy? Yeah, he's just a guy. So is Hawkeye. So is Black Widow's just a lady, and Batman, just a guy. DC,
yeah,
just a guy.
Falcon's already been an Avenger for like years now.
Falcon was in the last few movies, so I mean, like, he's fine. Bucky's also just a guy who has a metal arm. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I'm hoping that they have some more like Winter Soldier type espionage, and with Hydra and all that. Like, I thought them going into the disillusionment of American hyper patriotism was really good, and so I hope they keep poking that with a stick. Joseph Santi with $5. I think the Fantastic Four should be the Johnny Quest of the MCU, lost in the rift and back after the snap. Retro super science meets today's world.
Movie Bob had a really good take on this when he talked about how Fantastic Four into the MCU, where he effectively, in his idea, frames them as a family out of time. Like they went to the negative zone in the 60s and came back in the modern day, kind of like Steve Rogers was a man at the time. And I like that idea the best. So if they do that, I'd really love if they
like if they're a 1950s nuclear family type.
Yeah, and they had to deal maybe, and he says so, Movie Bob, if you haven't seen Bob Chipman, I think is his name, on YouTube. He was talking about how, like, Reed Richards could be dealing with the fact that now, the wife or whatever, like, isn't subservient to the husband, you know what I mean? Socially and stuff, and kids have a little bit more say, so Johnny, being typically the younger of the group, would maybe have a little more say, and
right. And I also think that you could kind of take the piss in a smart way, in kind of like how things changed for the better, even if like Reed Richards thinks this is worse, and like maybe he has like some of those those old Jello casseroles or something. I want that, and then they're like, "Oh God, we don't have to eat that anymore," or something. Just showing that the 1950s and like the good old days aren't necessarily the good old days. I think that'd be interesting and important. But I guess moving on to the Eternals, I know very little about the Eternals.
I know literally nothing about the Eternals. This is I like when we get into Marvel stuff that I don't know about. And in fairness, there's a decent number of it. But like I've known about Iron Man and Captain America and all that before, because I've read comics and I've played the games for quite a while and stuff that include those characters. So I'm aware of them usually, at least in a sort of a tertiary way. But the Eternals, I know nothing about. I Wikipedia'd them after the presentation, and apparently they were like a group of people who way long ago in the past, the Celestials, which are like cosmic beings in the Marvel universe, came to Earth and selected these specific people to be sort of Highlanders, where they live forever, and they're to be like the protectors of Earth.
I have the rundown of who's in it. So it's directed by Chloe Zhao. I don't know who that is. She's the first woman to direct a Marvel movie solo. Her cast for the movie includes Angelina Jolie as Thena, a super strong warrior woman, Richard Madden as Icarus, father of Greek god Icarus. They're spelled different, Ikaris and Icarus, like traditionally. Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo, samurai, master swordsman, film star, and producer. Okay. He's a samurai? Wait, why is Kumail playing a samurai?
I don't know.
He's an Indian. Did they have Indian samurais? Do they have samurais of Indian descent? It's not far from Japan. I feel like you could get there. Anybody, any history nerds know anything? Actually, any weebs know anything about that? Laura Ridloff as Macaulay, superhumanly fast. Brian Tyree Henry as Phastos, often mistaken for the Greek god Hephaestus. He built most of the Eternals' devices. Salma Hayek as Ajak, a male character in the comics. Don Lee as Gilgamesh, a.k.a. the Forgotten One. He developed his superhuman strength and durability to far greater degree than the norm for Eternals. Leah McHugh as Sprite, adept at manipulating matter. In the comic, the alien Celestials intended the Eternals to be the defenders of Earth. This leads to the inevitability of war against their destructive counterparts, the Deviants. The Eternals were created by Jack Kirby and made their first appearance in July of 1976. He's Pakistani. I mean, yeah, so he's of west, he's west of India, but that's, similar. There's a black samurai. That doesn't help me. I'm wondering if there's a Pakistani or, I guess, South Asian descent samurai. That's just interesting to me. I mean, I don't care, obviously. I just thought it was interesting. I forgot. They also soft announced more than Blade and Fantastic Four and X-Men, which he said mutants instead of X-Men. Black Panther 2, Guardians 3, and Captain Marvel 2 also got greenlit. And talked about. Eternals could be weird if they... Are they gonna be like real old, long time ago types of things, or is it gonna be like predate like a lot of stuff? Because I mean, we're talking about like Gilgamesh here.
I assume it'll take place in the modern day, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were flashbacks to sort of, again, almost Highlander-esque, to sort of explain their relationships over time and how they've experienced the human race being immortal. So I don't know.
Then I think the one I'm looking forward to second or third most, I can't really decide. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is I believe he's a kung fu master, sort of in the same breath as like an Iron Fist, but I don't know if he has powers. I'm not sure, but I do know that the Mandarin is coming back. They've casted this whole thing, and this will be for the Asian population, very similar to the Black Panther experience, I think, where it's really the first time we're having anything like this, especially in the West, right? I mean, this happens all the time in like Japanese and Chinese film and Korean film. But as far as a major Western blockbuster, this is going to be the first time, and so I'm very interested because it's not a thing that I am super familiar with. And I love the Mandarin and the idea of him, so.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, by the way, in Iron Man... the Mandarin...
broke up for a second. In Iron Man 3?
In Iron Man 3, it was revealed that the Mandarin in that film was just an actor named Trevor Slattery. I remember the name of the fake Mandarin, but I can't do math because my brain is dumb. Anyway, there was a little one-shot that came after that called All Hail the King, which I think is available on YouTube if you want to check it out, that revealed that there is actually a real Mandarin in the Marvel Universe, more akin to the Mandarin of the comics. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. The Mandarin has been cast, as Jake said, and it'll be cool to see what he's got going on, because in the comics, as far as I understand, again, I'm not really versed on the Mandarin specifically or anything like that. He has 10 rings of power, which I think are alien technology that he has taken and like construes as magic.
Sure.
And he's also, it seems, going to be the head of the Ten Rings terrorist organization that was first brought up all the way back in Iron Man 1. They're the group that kidnaps Iron Man, so kind of a neat full circle thing.
Bring back Sam Rockwell, you cowards. Do we need more Justin Hammer?
Yes. Yes.
I just need more Sam Rockwell. He can honestly just be the clone from Moon, and I'd be totally fine with that.
Honestly, if they do a Dark Avengers movie, I want him their Tony Stark
so
bad.
Fuck, please. Sam Rockwell is one of my favorite actors that doesn't get enough credit for his greatness.
Yeah.
He is seriously one of my favorite. Scoot McNeary is on the list as well. Scoot McNeary. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about Shang-Chi except I'm excited for a kung fu movie with Marvel directors. That sounds fucking dope. I don't know what the director of this movie has done, but I know they are of Asian descent, and I hope they have directed kung fu movies in the past, because I would really like to see what Marvel can do. Like, honestly, this could be as... if they do this right, the spectacle could be how watching The Matrix felt, if they do it right. Where that was since then, I can't remember a really great kung fu movie that came out of the West specifically.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Okay, next on to something I'm not super pumped about, but I do want to ask you a question, a very important question that all people must know the answer to. WandaVision. Not super pumped about this. I do like the characters individually. We both don't like this title. I don't necessarily care about their relationship. Although in Infinity War, I did worry about them at the beginning of that, right before Cap shows up in the train area. But that's pretty much the end of how much I give a shit. Is this going to be a prequel? Is this going to be alternate universe sort of thing? What are we talking here?
I have heard rumors. And the rumor is, especially based on the logo, I think kind of backs up these rumors. If you can see, the logo sort of looks like a chrome 1950s, almost like the kind of thing you'd see on like a fridge or something, like a logo.
Yeah.
The rumor is that because Scarlet Witch in the comics has basically Omega level powers in the sense
she's just gonna go back in time, or what?
She can alter reality. People are thinking she's going to, in her grief for the Vision, somehow, some way, accidentally change the world into like a 1950s utopia-ish thing, but not all is as it seems or whatever with the Vision alive. This would also give them an excuse from a production standpoint to not have him be as a robot Vision. If she creates this alternate reality, he could be a human version of the Vision, you know what I mean? But
why cuck his powers like that?
Because
it wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be fun. There's no way he doesn't have powers, because there's no reason to have the series if it's just Scarlet Witch and then also what's his name? What's this guy? The actor's name?
Paul Bettany.
Yeah, it'd be Scarlet Witch and Paul Bettany in the 1950s. Like literally,
Maybe.
There's no difference. That doesn't sound good. Hey Corey, happy to help you with opiate withdrawal. I don't know how we helped, but I'm glad that we did. Opiates are fuck faces. Smoke weed instead. Or don't. Actually, probably don't. If you're... Do they allow that? Do they allow that for people who withdraw from opiate addiction?
I don't know.
I think it'll be a multiverse thing. But I have a different question. Okay, a very important question. Are you familiar with their kid in the comic books?
No.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, does the Vision have, like, robot sperm?
This is the question I was going to ask you. The Vision child. No, the Vision... Wanda... Vision child, maybe? They had a fucked up superhero romance. They have, like, a fucking kid at one point. What's it called? Sarah said the name of it the other day.
I don't know.
I think they have a kid.
Tommy and William?
No.
Thomas and William. No last name.
Wiccan. The kid's name is Wiccan. So okay. Yeah, I've got to ask, and you asked the question already. You quite literally blew the wad. Okay. How does robot spunk work? Does he have robo balls that make robot spunk? Are they like little tiny like machine lobsters that come in and top lobster the ovum? Like I don't know how it works.
That's a little confusing to me. Again, I'm kind of a canon stickler sometimes. I not in the sense that it ruins the experience for me, but I find talking about it interesting. The Vision's body was originally created to be Ultron's final form So that means Ultron would have had to have designed his body with reproduction in mind, which doesn't seem like a very Ultron thing to me, because it seems like he would just copy himself into a ton of bodies without bothering with, children. But whatever.
Fictional character biography. Well, that's Billy Kaplan. I'm seeing Billy encounters the Avenger Scarlet Witch, told him to stand his ground. Blah 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 blah. See, I don't see it. It was her powers. Her powers just create it. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Do you think the fuckboys, the shitlords, can handle asexual reproduction? There's gonna be a gay person in Thor. They're gonna lose their minds. You can't spring asexuality on these people. Take the boogie route. Wait 20 years. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. /S for sarcasm. Next up, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This movie's probably going to be my favorite on this list, I think.
That's exciting, because I think the WandaVision show is going to lead directly into that, because...
That's the thought, yeah.
It has been confirmed that Elizabeth Olsen is also going to be co-starring, or at the very least a supporting lead, with Benedict Cumberbatch in that. This is also supposed to be a little bit of a horror movie. It's going to have the main villain, Nightmare, which I'm pretty excited about. He's basically the ruler of the dream realm, where human beings go when they sleep. Their explanation for what dreams are. And two people up for the role are apparently Hugh Jackman and Matt Smith.
I
love me some Matt Smith. I'm a big Doctor Who fan. I would love if he were to... If he got Nightmare, I think that would make sense. I could see him as like a maniacal dream lord type person. It makes sense.
Nightmare in Marvel. What do you look like? Can you be a lithe little English boy? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's a way better cast for Matt Smith than it is... Oh, yeah. Wow, Matt Smith even has similar hair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do it up. That would make me very happy. Doctor Strange, Lords of Fear. Interesting.
I'd also prefer they save Hugh Jackman for something else. And I don't mean Wolverine. I don't want to continue to play Wolverine. But I think they could utilize him better in a different role. I don't know who he would play, but I think there's another Marvel role out there for Hugh Jackman other than Wolverine. I don't know what it is, but I think he's really good.
I'm just excited. I think Benedict Cumberbatch, especially in the Avengers movies recently, I think he was very interesting and didn't get a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Doctor Strange cracking this fucking multiverse open so that we can have all the Marvel things we've ever wanted, and they can just be in any timeline, and it just always works. And you can have your X-Men, you can have your Fantastic Four, and it all makes sense. They don't have to necessarily always team up.
I love the idea that this might give them a chance, assuming because it's called in the Multiverse of Madness, they're going to go to several different universes, I think. It would give them a chance to maybe do some stuff they won't have an opportunity to do elsewhere. For instance, Marvel Zombies.
I really hope we get Marvel Zombies.
Even if it was just for like a quick 5-minute horror scene. He shows up in a dimension, he doesn't know what's going on, and it turns out it is the Marvel Zombie universe. That would be great.
Yeah. I think you're going to get a lot of like Easter egg type stuff.
I would love, oh man, you know what would be great? I would love for him to go somewhere and wind up in the Spider-Ham universe. And it's still John Mulaney playing Spider-Ham. That'd be very funny.
I'm excited because it opens up Spider-Verse stuff in general. Like Madam Web and just that whole thing. I'm very excited. I hope the next thing that Spider-Man gets to do is Venom or Carnage or both. I also wouldn't hate an Ultimate Spider-Man at some point, because it's rad in a way that's super outdated, and I kind of dig it. So, it's like Todd McFarlane rad, where it's all spiky and weird. Thunderboy
Echo says Marvel Zombies was trash. I disagree very much so. I like Marvel Zombies. Even if you don't like the plot, which is fine, whatever, the art is fucking astounding, and I love it. I can just stare at that. Also, that continued on for quite a while, and we got one of the most fun crossovers ever, which was, there's tons of different Marvel universes. Yeah. One of them is a universe where everyone, instead of being a human, is a kind of ape. Sort of a Marvel Planet of the Apes. Okay. But it's not like it's not a dystopia. It's just, it's New York City. They're superheroes, but they're monkeys.
Sure.
So they did a crossover that was Marvel Zombie Apes, and it was fucking awesome.
Marvel Zombies Planet of the Apes. Okay. Spider 2099? Yeah, that is what it meant. I don't know. There's so many implications for Multiverse of Madness. I'll be very excited when the trailers come out. Next up, the worst logo on this board, Loki. How do we feel about a Loki series? I don't really care about it. I like Tom Hiddleston. I don't care about Loki. I think this is for fangirls or people who want to fuck Tom Hiddleston, basically. That ain't me.
I think Loki works specifically because he is a supporting character.
Right.
I feel like if the focus is on him, it won't be as interesting because his one character trait is he's an asshole.
Right.
And he tricks people. But assuming he's the POV character, and maybe he won't be, maybe it'll be a sidekick.
Okay. I actually had a good idea.
Okay.
Loki, but it's Quantum Leap. So basically Loki has to... Maybe he's in the afterlife or something, and he's ascended to godhood because, of course, he died 3 movies ago at this point.
They're gonna use the Loki from Endgame that got away with the Space Stone because that never came up again in Endgame.
You're probably right, but I'm just saying.
It's a Chekhov's gun.
So he has the Space Stone, and maybe something to do with it is okay, but you're supposed to be dead, and you've kind of ruined this shit, and you have a stone now. Go through time and space, or just space, and fix problems to atone, and we'll give you your fucking life back, right? Because he's Loki, the god of trickery, so he's a god. So I feel like Loki trying to do good while wanting to do bad is always fun. I like the idea of putting him in different situations where you could get Tessa Thompson for, I don't know how long these are, probably 45-minute long episodes or an hour. You could get her for a 45 to an hour long episode and have it be the Valkyrie needs something done, and have Tessa Thompson have to deal with Loki, or have the Hulk and Loki have to team up to do something, and he'll be oh, sorry about slamming you that one time, or I think you could have guest stars in this scenario, especially because Disney has in just all the budget.
I'm so curious what the effects budget is going to be on these. Is it going to be comparable I assume we will see less screen time of the big visual effects stuff, but when we see it, will it be on par with the movies, do you think? Or do you think it'll still be downgraded because it's a TV show?
I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to be some of the lower budget Marvel movies. So an Ant-Man. I think so you're still going to have good effects, right? But it's not going to have they're not going to put the entire budget into it. I think these are going to have around the budget of a film.
Okay.
But for the whole series. You know what I mean?
That makes sense, sure. I gotta read this comment, it's too good. Theorizing that one could rule the universe with the Tesseract, Loki stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished.
Oh, damn it.
That's good.
But I do like the idea, especially because he can change his form.
Real quick, if anyone enjoys Quantum Leap as much as I do, go look up the Quantum Leap podcast online. Just put that into your Google and you'll find it. Allison Pregler's on it. That show's great.
We like Allison. I follow her on Twitter. She's always thinking of something. You should go on that.
I'm not known enough to go on that, although I do have many opinions on both the quantum and
what do you mean you're not known enough to go on that?
What am I?
I do things. All you gotta do is open your fucking mouth and talk to somebody. Okay, whatever.
I don't want to be
don't go have a fun... Why not?
We've never really talked.
Why not?
But I like that podcast you're on. Can I be on it?
Yes.
No.
Yep. That's exactly how it works. It works every time for me. It's literally worked every single time. Moving on to the What If section. The Marvel Studios What If series. What if Hugo had human interactions with people.
No,
think of the possibilities.
Even in the endless multiverse, that's not a possibility.
God damn it. So, I know of the Agent Carter, Captain America. Do you know of the other episode ideas that they got going on?
No, that's the only one I think they've revealed, and I haven't heard any specific rumors. But considering that it's going to have MCU actors and it's going to, it's not going to dive into comics as much. It's going to be MCU What If, not just, adaptation of the comics What If. I think seeing some of the 14 million or whatever times that the Avengers lost to Thanos would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's already set up. I want to see one where we find out if Thanos hadn't gotten the gems taken away from him at the end of Endgame and had snapped and created his own new universe, what would that have looked like? I think
Paradise.
That'd be pretty interesting. Sure. It'd be a little similar to the recent Secret Wars where Doctor Doom did something. He stole the Beyonders' powers and he created Doom World or whatever he called it.
Sure. Is it animated?
Oh, yeah, it's animated.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Ooh, you could do a lot of fun Spider-Man stuff. You could do a lot of fun. I think Doctor Strange what-ifs are probably cool. What if, what if he didn't get the Time Stone? I don't know, like what if he had more time for his powers before Dormammu came? Like, I don't know. There's just some stuff.
I think they've actually done this in the comics too. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but I think they did, what if Tony Stark...
See if it... Now that she's not on Destiny, I'm going to see if it works. Let's see. Let's see if it's capable. Huh? We working? We working? Let's see. Let's see.
I got kicked off of everything.
I think I'm on. I think I'm here. Let's see. Yep. We're back.
Why not do fucking internet?
Because you're trash. Quit playing video games. Fucking gamer. Piece of shit.
The video games did not crash our internet.
The video games crashed the internet. Female gamers are being kicked off the internet. Just like the Lord intended. Something sandwich. I don't know. I don't know how to be sexist to you. Come here, give me a smooch.
Why would I do that?
Because you're pretty? It worked. Thanks. So we are back. It's working again. Want to finish our Marvel conversation?
Yeah, sure.
Call it a day.
I'm responding to a cousin who's asking a question about the snap, interestingly enough, just by happenstance.
Oh, they're not watching?
Did the snap include dogs?
Yes. All life.
I think so, too.
Half of all life.
Not plants, though, but I think animals, yes.
I think it was just life. Probably sentient life. Did the Bible study happen and I miss it? The Bible study was available for patrons. It will be up tomorrow for everybody else. It got demonetized. Be a patron. Become a patron. Give us $1. And you can get all of the things. And we'll actually get paid for all the work we do. Anyway, so what if the stream continued to work properly for the rest of this conversation? That's the next Marvel What If. Anything else? Anything else you want to talk about the What If series for?
Nah, I don't think so.
All animals and all plants? Feige confirmed? Really? All plants? They didn't really experience this. Half of all plants. You would have a lot of erosion. Much erosion. And then when everybody came back, was anyone standing in a place where a new plant would have been? Like a tree? And then they got resorbed into a tree?
I don't know. People in airplanes are fucked.
Yep. Ouch. I'll give you $1. Cool. Go to Patreon. I think... right there. Hit it up. You get up in there. You just cut food in half? What? What about fungi? That's living. Anyway, moving on to the Hawkeye series. By the way, this is the art they use for the comics, which is dope. Is this going to be live action with Jeremy Renner and all that? All the good stuff? I believe it is,
as far
right?
as I understand it, yeah.
And it's also going to have, what's the lady? What's her name?
I already forgot.
I forgot too. Damn it.
Kate Bishop?
Kate Bishop. Thank you very much. That was driving me nuts. They are adding Kate Bishop to it, so of course, female representation. Jeremy will be very mad. I like Hawkeye a lot. Apparently, the comics are really good. Have you? Did I ask you this already? Have you read them?
No, I haven't read any of the Hawkeye comics.
Yeah, apparently.
I heard that.
Apparently,
I heard the specific run that the logo is sort of aping from.
Yeah.
I heard is really good.
Yeah, that's the one. Purple suit and everything. Supposed to be really good. Kate Bishop's supposed to be a badass. Randy, who we play D&D with, really likes it. So, I believe he has a Hawkeye, or he's thinking about getting a Hawkeye tattoo, because he likes that series so much. Mockingbird, is that her name? The non-regular name? Tracksuit.
The superhero name?
Yeah.
Probably.
Matt Fraction has a good Hawkeye series. I think that's the one, right? That's the one.
I'm not sure.
I think Matt Fractions does this logo. Leslie Clausen, $2. Take my money. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't know what the Hawkeye series is going to do necessarily. It could take place after. It could be just fine. I just like. I liked the Hawkeye Ronin stuff we got for a little bit. I thought he liked Nightwing, not Hawkeye. Oh no, Hawkeye. He talks about it all the time in my group chat. I mean, he likes. I think most people like Nightwing too, anyway, right? But it's definitely Hawkeye. I wouldn't hate seeing some more of these sort of ninja spy missions with just Hawkeye. I think they're cool. I think he has a really cool aesthetic, and I like Jeremy Renner in general. So, do you have any expectations at all for this? I don't know if you have any.
I'm hoping it takes place not expectations as much as hopes. I'm hoping it takes place after Endgame, him dealing with the loss of his best friend, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe him trying to retire as he often does, but he gets brought back in for whatever reason. Although it does get a little tough to believe at this point that Hawkeye would continue to do Hawkeye things.
Well, you could do...
You know what I mean? And not just retire and spend time with his family.
You could do the 5 years that the snap before the...
Oh, sure. You could do it during the snap. I guess that would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Plus, you could do crossovers with other people if they're doing it during that time. That could be cool. But then, if Kate Bishop's in it, I don't know where she was during Endgame then. And then last... well, not lastly, because we're going to do the other ones, but Thor, Love and Thunder... Uh-oh. There's going to be ladies in this one. You know what that means? You know what that means, chat? Ladies, it means erasure of the white male. White male erasure.
Has Coach Red Pill made a video yet?
Jeremy sure did.
Yeah.
We love a good Jeremy. I think we'll be doing some trash with him soon.
I find it funny that Jeremy even tried to be like, you guys act like freaking out so much. Dude, you made like 20 videos about Brie Larson.
Right, and it's a grift.
And you wonder why people like call you out on this shit.
Yeah.
It's just outrage farming. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway, Natalie Portman's coming back to return as Jane, and this time they're going to be taking a page out of some comics from I think 2014, in which Jane picks up the hammer of Thor and becomes Thor. In that, though, she had terminal cancer. I don't think she will in this movie, unless they go very dark. A comic book has a lot more time to flesh out stuff like that. A movie, it doesn't quite have the time to do it. But I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be kind of a dark comedy, because Taika is still directing like he did the last one. But I don't know. He can do serious stuff, I think, if he wanted to. I just think Thor works better currently as sort of a cosmic fun romp. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, Tessa Thompson's going to be there, and going to. She said, now that the Valkyrie is king, she needs to find her queen. So of course there's going to be more outrage there, which is great. Caligula Style with $2. Jeremy is already upset. Oh yeah, and then he made like a "I'm not mad" video, which is great. We'll be doing some of those soon. I don't know what the story is going to be for this, other than probably just passing the torch sort of thing, so that maybe Thor loses his powers a little bit while he gets back in shape. I don't know, because he's going to be in the Guardians movie, so he's going to have powers by then as well. So unless he's just going to go with Stormbreaker, would that just be Odin Force instead then?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
Not sure.
I don't know how that. I don't know how to share that, but I'm interested.
Also, typically, the way Jane got the Thor powers was by picking up Mjolnir, but Mjolnir doesn't exist in this timeline anymore. So I'm wondering if we'll get a new Mjolnir, or if it's
they could recreate it. I think probably, since Asgardians are probably alive after the snap and can build stuff. Maybe what's the actor's name that played the dwarf?
Oh crap. He's a Lannister.
I have so many names going through my head right now, I can't keep them straight.
Peter Dinklage.
Thank you so much for Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage could hammer something out real quick. Maybe it could work. I like the idea of like a Valkyrie Thor buddy cop thing, Love and Thunder. I like the idea of I wonder who the queen's is. It going to be Jane Foster?
I doubt it.
It could be, but I don't think it is. I think that would be a little corny. I know she did like Black Swan and stuff. It's not like Natalie Portman can't pull off gay, but like, and she's a good actress. She's just not as fun. Like, they haven't set up Jane Foster to be fun, so I'm very interested to see how they make that character become fun. Because I know Natalie Portman can be fun, but Jane Foster is a little uptight. And,
a lot of people have criticized this, and their concern is coming out of a place of Jane Foster not being a very good character to do Thor movies. And I don't disagree, but I think part of that is definitely the part as it's written. I think a better writer can write a better role, and I think a Natalie Portman will be more... How do I put this?
I have no doubt that Natalie Portman can pull it off.
I think she'll be more attentive to the role, assuming it is written better than just Thor's girlfriend. You know what I mean? I could understand an actress coming in and kind of phoning it in if the character's pretty paper thin. You know what I mean? And Jane is pretty paper thin in the first Thor movie. You know what I mean?
And the second one, in Dark World, she got like that weird force stuff. I forget what it's called, but
the ether.
The ether. Yeah. Just do a
or the Aether? I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The Dark World sucks. But
that might be my least favorite Marvel movie.
It's mine, yeah, for sure. It's my least favorite. I don't know. I'm just hoping she has some fun. It could be interesting to pair her with someone like a Tessa Thompson and have Thor be playing Lady Thor, be playing the straight. I guess there's sexuality implications, but that's not what I'm talking about. The straight man to the comedic relief of like the sort of drunk, what's the word I'm looking, like how she was, how Valkyrie was in Ragnarok, where she was just kind of like, flippant and didn't really, she was just into it by the end. But she's still kind of like that, and I think that could be cool. I also like the idea of exploring kind of the death of her last partner. I don't know to what degree maybe they were married or just dating or something. I don't know. But I like the idea of exploring that. Jane not being with Thor. Do we call them both Thor in this scenario?
Thor is Thor Odin's son, and I assume she'll be Thor whatever. Oh god, what's the Norse last name tradition for ladies?
I don't know.
Because, like, Odin's son just means literally the son of Odin. So I gotta assume the female equivalent is...
Just Thor Foster?
Maybe. I don't know. I assume, at the very least, Taika will, like, lampshade it in a way. Well, they'll probably make a joke about it. It'll probably be in the trailer. Oh, so you're Thor also. Yeah. That's confusing. Yeah. Seems like a Marvel joke.
Thor's like the Doctor. Well, I know, but Thor doesn't have a name outside of Thor, right? So
I believe when he became the unworthy Thor, which is power, just went by Odin's son.
Sure.
Is what he went by. So.
Dotir.
He could also take on. He could take on the title of Donald Blake, which was his alias in the early comics, but no.
I know Jane Foster Thor is still called Thor. I'm wondering if they're both in the same room, which is a gag they'll almost certainly do. Thane equals Thor Jane. There we go. I don't know if there's anything else. I think that's my second favorite thing I'm looking forward to. I think it goes Doctor Strange, Thor, and then Shang-Chi, and then probably the What If series. And then everything else is pretty equal, with the Eternals probably edging out everything else just because I know nothing about it and I'm interested.
Let's see. How would I rank these? Honestly, I'm most excited for the Disney Plus series because...
Which one?
I'm just saying all of them in general.
Oh, okay. Just see how it goes.
My top would probably be Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then WandaVision. I actually am interested in WandaVision just because I like those characters enough where I'm curious what's going to happen. Especially if it involves like an alternate reality, altering timeline.
I like
thing.
her more than I like Vision a lot. Like I think her powers are interesting. I think Kate Olsen is. I've seen her in some other stuff, specifically that movie with Jeremy Renner. She did a really good job in, which wasn't a Marvel movie.
Sure.
I think she can handle herself. Paul Bettany always comes across as pretty one note to me.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
He's a robot, though.
I know.
Like...
Well, no, I don't. I mean, in everything he does, he comes across pretty one note to me. So I'm wondering.
I don't entirely agree. I like his awkward flirting as the Vision when he's like making her Taprakesh or whatever the fuck it's called.
Sure, but I mean, how many movies have you seen with him?
I don't know.
He's a little one note. He's got a great voice though, so I'm hoping using that awkwardness of the robot Vision with like a time travel-y, magic-y thing. I hope that can work.
Yeah. Then I'm probably most excited for Hawkeye. What If, then Loki. Loki's last. I'm not excited for it. It's just like he's a character I'm the least interested in out of those that are shown so far. And then as far as the movies go, I guess I'm most excited for... That's tough. Doctor Strange, number 1. Thor, number 2. And it's kind of right now probably a 3-way tie between Black Widow and Shang-Chi, just because we know so little about them. Once I get more information, I'll be able to make a call. But, but why I'm most excited for the TV shows is because we've seen Marvel TV shows in like S.H.I.E.L.D. and we've seen the Netflix shows, obviously. But those are very disconnected from the Marvel Universe proper. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see what Kevin Feige, now that he has complete control basically over the television division. Did you hear about this, by the way, Jake? He effectively went to Disney and said, "You give me control over the TV because I'm so sick of Perlmutter's shit. Otherwise,
Perlmutter?
I'm fucking..." Yeah.
Who's that?
He was in charge of the Marvel TV division. He made the terrible show.
Gotcha.
And Kevin Feige went to Marvel and was like, "You need to get rid of him or I'm fucking walking." And and Disney, being not dumb entirely right now, said, "Okay, it's yours." So now Feige has control over the entire Marvel live-action universe. So I'm interested to see what they do with this longer-form storytelling, because we haven't seen it. You know?
Yeah.
And I like Daredevil, and I like Luke Cage, and I like Jessica Jones, but they're, it's different. It's different.
I have a dog. He attacked. Okay. I didn't know that happened, so that's good, because I think Feige is pretty much the only reason that this has been that successful, because it's so cohesive and runs together so well, and I think there's a special skill. It seems that Feige has the ability to, and I don't know this personally, of course, it just seems that he has the ability to say, here are some points that you need to hit. I don't care how you get there. It's just what we need. Please have creative control in every other area and make it your thing. We trust you and go do it. Yeah, it really, especially since basically like Guardians. Since Guardians came out, I'm pretty sure it feels like that's what's been happening. Jeffrey Petron with $5. Marvel drama is Hugo time, basically.
I guess, yeah.
So
I hated Perlmutter. He was a sexist dickbag too.
Was he?
Like he didn't want a Black Widow movie either. He Black Widow anything. He was like, girls don't like fucking comic book things. Guys like. He was basically doing a Coach Red villain, saying like women are in the comic books because guys want to jerk off to them. It's fucked up.
Okay, let me see if they have. Okay, so the announced but unscheduled. Well, okay, so February 18th, 2022, May 6th, and July 29th. Wow. February, May, and July, there's going to be 3 Marvel movies in 2022. That's pretty wild, actually. I assume they will be one of these. Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Captain Marvel 2, Fantastic Four, and Blade. Do we want to talk about Black Panther, Guardians, or Captain Marvel 2?
Nah, because we basically get it.
Yeah.
We don't have any further details at this time, so what best we could do is speculate. I think Captain Marvel will be a fun, like, I assume Captain Marvel 2 will be like a fun, space cop adventure thing, or maybe she'll come back to Earth and deal with Nick Fury. I don't know. Or maybe Nick Fury, based on what we saw in the post-credit scene of Spider-Man, will actually be in space with her and doing stuff. Who knows?
Yeah.
Black Panther 2, there are rumors that it's going to introduce Storm into the MCU, the X-Man.
That makes sense.
Which makes sense because I believe in certain iterations she was worshipped as a and she was worshipped as a goddess there for a while. So that's fun. And it would make sense that
it's going to be Halle Berry.
No. There's, I think, a weird actress, but I don't remember her name. But it would make sense that Wakanda would maybe be like, hey, there's some weather patterns going on. You want to go check this out? And,
sure.
And there's also a rumor that Kraven the Hunter is going to be coming into the Spider-Man universe. And Kraven the Hunter is going to be an exiled Wakandan, which is where he gets his tech and stuff. So that's a good way to tie him into the Marvel universe as a whole.
Kraven the Hunter is a pretty cool character.
So those two characters could be introduced in Black Panther 2 pretty easy.
Yeah. Guardians is going to be the one with Thor. If it's not called as Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't know what the fuck these people are doing.
They're not going to call it that. He already said they're not going to do it.
Why not?
Because they already made the joke. They made it in the movie. It's done.
You got to call it that, man. Or have Thor really push for it. Yeah, I don't really care about that. But Fantastic Four. How do you pull it off?
Again, like I said earlier, I think Bob Chipman had a pretty good.
I think that's the best way.
Good. Yeah.
Out of time.
People out of time.
Did you watch the most recent iteration of Fantastic Four?
No.
It was the one where halfway through they changed directors, and it was very apparent. Because they were going for like a Cronenberg style horror movie at first, and it was kind of cool. I could kind of see what was happening. And it had a neat aesthetic, and then it just kind of went away, and they tried to be funny, and it didn't work. But I agree. I really like the Fantastic Four when they're couched in that sort of 50s era. Because they're so corny. Like, watching the old cartoons, I actually enjoy the Fantastic Four and the old Hanna-Barbera runs. I think they're Hanna-Barbera. Where, they have the open cockpit 4-seater spaceship thingy that flies around.
The Fantastic Car. It's called the Fantastic
Car. Sure,
Car.
I don't know. I also like Ben. I guess I'm kind of worried about Mr. Fantastic being corny and lame, because he's super corny and lame. So
I wonder if they're going to go, in the Ultimate Marvel Universe, he became evil,
Okay.
I'm curious if they'll go that route at some point.
Oh, maybe at some point. Not now, though.
I think the rest of the Fantastic... I don't remember. I didn't read the Ultimate Comics very much.
Would that be the Fantastic 3, then?
I think his family's dead at that point.
I don't know how to play euchre. Euchre's easy. I pretty much he's the only one that I think is lame. So if the rest of them can do some fun stuff, I
disagree. I don't think he's lame because I think he's so interesting in, again, this only works insofar as like the Marvel universe as a shared universe is concerned, but he's Tony Stark, but like even smarter. Tony Stark's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic is a fucking genius. Like he makes Tony Stark look dumb sometimes. Tony Stark is more of an engineer. Mr. Fantastic, while he does engineering, is more of like a really high science guy. He's a physicist and he can do all these. He's like Iron Man and Hank Pym rolled into one. It's. I think there's
I
a lot
like
of
that part of him. I just as a superhero, I don't want to see a fight scene with him. It's stupid.
Again, you say this kind of thing all the time
about what?
Just about things. Like sometimes you'll be like, "Oh, this is gonna be dumb." I disagree.
Like what?
I trust Marvel. Like this right now.
Well, no, but like what's another example?
Like before,
the Nintendo Switch. I was wrong about the Nintendo Switch, but so were you. But what?
Yeah, and various Marvel projects we've talked about, like Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Fantastic Four's. I feel like you have to lean into the corny.
Probably, but again, I just feel like we could have said the same. You could have said the same thing about Guardians of the Galaxy, and that like if they get a creative person that's allowed enough free reign within the confines they're given, they can do a good job.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. Well, and also just from a consumer standpoint, we've had so many bad Fantastic Four experiences. Like, it's poisoned the well, so to speak. So like it's already like a negative enforcement, which is why I'm glad that it's gonna be. They're gonna do the Eternals. They're gonna do some of this Disney Plus stuff. Like we'll get an idea of the kind of creativity they're putting out long before this happens. But the thing I am excited for is Mahershala Ali starring in Blade.
Yeah, that'll be good. Poor Wesley Snipes. Too bad you were such an asshole, right?
I really think they should give him a cameo.
Here's the thing. I think he'd be an asshole if they invited him to do a cameo.
Think so?
And be a dick. Yes, absolutely. Out of spite. Because he wanted to come back and be Blade again in the MCU, and they were like, no, Wesley Snipes, no. And he's reportedly was just a huge prick on the set of like Blade 3 and just did not give a fuck.
Blade 3? The one with Ryan Reynolds?
Yes, he called Ryan Reynolds that cracker, apparently, a lot.
Why?
Which I'm not going to say isn't funny. It is a little bit.
He did have a goatee at the time.
But, literally, there's a GIF been going around. I'm sure you guys, some of you at least saw it somewhere. In Blade 3, there's a scene where he's supposed to be, like, asleep or dead or something. I haven't watched Blade 3 in a very long time.
Sure.
And he is supposed to open his eyes. But he refused to open his eyes in this scene just because he was being a dick. I don't know.
For no reason?
So they CG'd him opening his eyes.
No, they fucking didn't. Hold on.
It's so bad.
Blade 3 CG eyes. Hold the fuck on. Okay. Let's watch it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What? The part where they had to add CGI eyes because Wesley Snipes was insane and refused to open his eyes on the set is a crowning achievement and a crowning moment in cinema. What the fuck? What? Is the whole scene available? Oh no. No, that's it still. On YouTube? Blade Trinity. this is not it. It's just zoomed in on his face. Okay, thanks, person. That was very strange. I need to watch that soon. I like the addition of Blade. How do you add fucking vampires to the MCU though? Do you just say that they exist?
Yeah.
And no one and like Spider-Man's never run into one at the sandwich shop in Brooklyn, like.
No, they come out at night. They're vampires.
Shut the fuck up. Come on.
I'm just saying.
How has he never run into one?
Man,
he's got Spidey sense.
Okay, that doesn't mean he can tell if someone's a vampire.
No, but he could tell if someone's getting their neck bitten.
Okay, there probably just won't be many vampires. We'll see.
Then what's Blade's job?
To kill the vampires that do exist. Maybe. How about this? Maybe it won't be set in New York. They can set it somewhere else.
Was it in California last time, or was it New York? I thought it was New York.
I don't remember. It probably was. I think in the comics he probably is. Most Marvel heroes are set out of New York. I'm just saying, being vampires, they can be kind of wherever. I doubt they're going to have an evil plan.
Not in Florida. That's the Sunshine State.
I don't think they're going to have a plan much more complicated than, like, turn a bunch of people into vampires or, like, steal a bunch of people so we can drink their blood.
I'm pretty disappointed you didn't call me out for that dad joke. You could have.
I'm immune.
Morbius, the living vampire. Doctor Strange 2 will introduce vampires, you think so? Maybe.
Morbius is currently owned by Sony. They're making... So.
He's just that good at his job. If he's that good, then there shouldn't be... If there's only like a few vampires, then there shouldn't be any now. Because he's so good at his job. I don't know. I hope maybe it's an alternate universe thing. I'm also kind of interested just in general. Like, couldn't you effectively, if you're Spider-Man or someone else, I don't know, and you're like, the world needs me forever, couldn't you just turn into a vampire and fucking kick the shit out of crime with super powers? Superpowers?
Well, the point, I think, is vampirism typically gives hunger that can only be satiated by blood, whereas Blade, being a daywalker, doesn't necessarily have the same thing going on, or he has a better handle on it. I don't know. I do like that this opens the door to the more supernatural occult MCU, and we could get an actual Ghost Rider movie.
Ghost Rider would be fucking dope. I think that's probably where they're headed, right?
I want nothing more than to see an Avengers movie in 10 years where they're like doing a big battle and fucking Ghost Rider on his fucking flaming motorcycle rides up a
I
building.
thought you were gonna call it a fire scooter.
That'd be great, though. I want to see him in a big MCU battle. I think it'd be so fun.
Marvel's Dark Universe, starting with Blade. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I like an idea like that where you have like Marvel Dark and like superheroes are gone and we're kind of fending for ourselves in a world of monsters, and Blade's one of them, and then like maybe the more occulty like a Ghost Rider has to come in and help, and then they can have a universal crossover. I think that makes a lot more sense than just being like, yeah, there's vampires, and then like nobody's taking care of them at all.
Yeah, they actually introduced Ghost Rider, not Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, but Ronnie Ray as Ghost Rider and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I heard that was pretty good. I didn't really watch it, though.
I'm actually surprised we didn't get a Moon Knight announcement. Moon Knight's been on people's radars for a bit.
I think that'll be more like Phase 6.
Some deep cuts. Ghost Rider storms Area 51 with Moon Knight and Blade, yes. Moon Knight would be dope. Anyway. Do we have any parting things? Are you going to go see Lion King in theaters?
Absolutely not.
Me either.
I heard it sucked.
Well, of course it sucked. It's a live-action remake. Absolutely terrible. No,
it's still gonna make over It's gonna make over $1 billion.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, I think it already had a record opening. Hold on, let me double check. I keep tabs on box office because I'm interested in that kind of thing.
Doctor Strange billed as the first scary Marvel movie at Comic-Con, with panelists joking that it's just because Quentin Beck lied about the multiverse in Spider-Man Far From Home. Doesn't mean that a multiverse doesn't exist. Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen are starring, as Scott Derrickson is returning to rest. So Scarlet Witch is going to be in it.
Yeah, Lion King made $191 million its opening weekend.
But why?
That almost because I saw it, so I clapped. I recognized that thing. It's just a nostalgia thing. And yes, I recognize the irony of this while directly after talking about corporate shilly Marvel bullshit, but it's my bullshit, damn it.
I don't like it. So the John Wick creator is working on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So that's cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. They just have to, like, steal all the good people, man. Anyway, I think that's it for the stream. Sorry it crapped out at the end there for a little bit. Please consider going to patreon.com/Hugo and Jake and tossing us just $1 to recur, so that we can keep the lights on around here, because every fucking video we keep putting out keeps getting demonetized. It's a rough life. We will be doing what do you have, a teaser, like a teaser synopsis for the video we're gonna do later this week?
It's gonna involve a book.
Well, yeah, but it's like the final. He gets cannibalized.
Cannibalism. Yeah.
There's cannibalism, guys. Cannibal book horror. It's gonna be great. I will be streaming tomorrow evening and Wednesday, and I will make sure that you guys understand the day that the 24-hour stream comes out. We'll be doing that. I'm gonna have a lot of guests probably, including Hugo. Thank you for being a patron. Do you guys need sponsors? Yes, Pedro. Be my sponsor, Pedro. What are you selling, Pedro? Pedro's selling tube socks. Bring back tube socks. Remember tube socks? They're socks that came in tubes. Jake, just eat crackers while they do this part, chugging grape juice? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Anyway, I love you all dearly. Ooh, that's what an ad. What an ad, that Haagen-Dazs ad. We'll be doing this next week as well. So follow us on Twitter. We'll be asking for subjects that you want us to talk about. Typically, these are going to not run this late. They would typically run for 2 hours or so instead of almost 3, but, you know, that fucked up. So didn't my mother ever tell me not to come in tubes? You know, it's never come up. I've never had the conversation, Mom, I just like to come in tubes. And she's like, you know what? That ain't cool, man. That ain't cool. So you have a good night. Hugo, let's have like a little spot of wisdom. Last thing of the night, Hugo's wisdom. Hugo, please impart a part of your vast wisdom on all of us right before we end.
If you wouldn't put your dick in it,
yep,
don't put your fingers in it.
That's probably a really good set of advice. Okay. Have a good night.